No black hats, just straight facts.
Triple P certified.
Listen, we can talk about odds all day. It doesn't matter what the odds are. It matters what's gonna happen.
Welcome back to the Parlay Pursuit. It is I, Lukey CK, joined as always by Danny the Betman, Euro Under King, Alex. What is up, boys? How you doing off the weekend of UFC 294? Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski. How you feeling? How are spirits?
Lower than ever. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I am back again. I am back being a loser. I'm drinking in my own beer here. It's crying in my own beer. It's not good. We got to make some changes, boys. Some changes are inbound. I'm not going to say anything yet. Just stay tuned and watch the fucking ride.
Yeah, bit of a wash for me. I ended up losing $30. Not a big deal. If it weren't for that dang no contest, it would have been a complete wash. Regardless, lost it all on football anyway. But you know what? It was a pretty good weekend, all said and done, and looking forward to the big boxing match coming up. Not sure how much I'll bet on it, if at all, but after that, we got some good spots with UFC as well. So good stuff.
Well, if you were joining the show, we're going to recap Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski, the whole Abu Dhabi affair. We're going to break it all down, tell you how we did, who we bet on, what we thought of the fights. We'll get into that for about 15 minutes at the top of the show, and then we're going to get into an early predictions breakdown of UFC Fight Night Almeida. Actually, it's not a fight night. It's in Sao Paulo, Brazil. UFC Sao Paulo. I think it's still a fight night, though. Jailton Almeida now taking on Derek Lewis. Curtis Blades is out. Derek Lewis is in. That fight is happening not this Saturday, but next. So we are going to give you our early predictions right back on schedule here for free on the YouTube show. And then if you like the show and you want to keep watching us, we're going to hop over to the Fine Tooth Comb Club. You can access the Fine Tooth Comb Club via patreon.com. The portal is patreon.com/Parlay Pursuit. And there you will get an extra episode every week where we break down every fight that we broke down for free on the YouTube channel here with a fine tooth comb on the
Isn't this the
Now,
Patreon? Isn't this the Patreon?
This is not the Patreon. This is the YouTube show. That's why we did the intro music. Anyway, so, we usually will do, for example, this week we would do Jailton Almeida predictions for free early. And then next week we'll come in the Patreon and do a fine tooth comb breakdown of what we just broke down this week and see if anything has changed. Now, this week there's no UFC this Saturday, so we got no fine tooth comb breakdown of any UFC event this Saturday, but we're going to go through Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou again in the Patreon, talk some shit, have some fun, join us over there for a few laughs. But for now, let's just talk about Abu Dhabi, baby, because there were some oddities, there were some rarities, there was some weirdness going on all night. I know these guys probably have some big opinions. I was at a wedding in Jacksonville, Florida. Now, the wedding started at 4:30, so everything was wrapped and done by the time I needed to be present, mingling, doing family affairs, things like that. So I watched all the fights, every single one of them. The last two I watched in the car on the way to the venue, and managed to get through all of them. But it was really, I don't want to be like callous here, but it was kind of one of the worst cards I've ever seen.
I agree.
It both in terms of, okay, and I'll go into why, but if you just take into account the no contests, the short notice replacements, and then the performance of the short notice replacements, right? So it's like, I think that we all kind of hoped we would see different outcomes in the co-main and the main, pretty much opposite. Like, I think we all wanted to see Khamzat knock out Usman in the first round, because that's what should have happened in theory. And then I think we all wanted to see Makhachev and Volkanovski have a close fight again, or God forbid Volkanovski go in there and Michael Bisping or Nate Diaz's ass. If you thought he might have been the guy, he seems like the guy. So I don't know. I mean, my expectations for Volkanovski were beginning to be tapered as I saw him walking out to the ring, just because he just looked physically in so much worse shape than Makhachev. I mean, Makhachev looked like he was forged in a lab for that fight, whereas Volkanovski looked like a melted version of himself. So a lot to talk about. Let's start with the main event. That's the most important. Islam Makhachev knocks out Alexander Volkanovski with a head kick. I think the story of it is just that sometimes you can, like Alexander said, big risk, big reward. Sometimes you can take these opportunities and it really works out for you. Bisping, Diaz, right? But other times you are sent back to your division with now no path forward to a double champ status at 155. And you're sent back with a concussion. You're sent back a little bit demoralized. And I got to think this fight impacts his fight with Topuria. I mean, I hate to say it, I love Alexander Volkanovski, but I think that he's going to lose to Ilia Topuria now, and I don't think he would have if he hadn't done this. So while Alex got nothing from that fight, and he didn't get a training camp from it, he didn't get even a 15-minute go, he got nothing. So now he's going to go back and recover while Topuria gets stronger and gains ground on him. I'm picking Topuria 100%. I'm letting you guys know now if the fight even happens. I'm going to say right now it's going to be Max Holloway versus Ilia Topuria for the interim. Volkanovski's going to have some injury, and he's not going to be able to do it. I'm just predicting that now, but I'm picking Topuria if it is Volkanovski. I'm definitely picking him if it's Holloway. And I think everybody who's shitting on Topuria, you are all going to be in the same position you were with Dricus du Plessis. You're going to be in the exact same position where I was with Robert Whittaker after he defeated him. I was up high, and you are still down low. Your king is defeated. He is still dead. Max Holloway will get completely destroyed by Ilia Topuria if they fight. Knocked out even. He'll get knocked out. And you will all bet on Max Holloway, and Ilia Topuria will be a plus 200 dog. And I will win, and you will lose, and you'll be sad. And I love Max Holloway.
Wrong.
But, yeah, you're wrong because Ilia Topuria can take everything Max gives him. Max cannot take everything Ilia Topuria gives him. Fact. And same with Volkanovski.
Ilia Topuria almost got knocked out by the backcountry banger, dude.
But
like, come on.
I knew you were going to say that. Listen, I love Max Holloway. But listen, I knew you were going to say that. The difference is that Ilia Topuria is the type of guy who fights to the level of his opponent. And now that he's being given ranked and top 5 and title shot level opponents, that's how he will fight. Trust me. Everybody just pays attention to what they saw. They never think to themselves like, maybe things will be different. You know, that's the difference in me. I think maybe things will be different because I don't aim where they are. I aim where they're going to be. He's a young man. He's evolving. And if you give me a guy that I don't respect, I'm probably going to do worse than if you give me a guy I do respect. Facts. Those are the hardest fights to win. The fights where you're supposed to win.
Yeah, that happens quite often in combat sports. To your point about Volkanovski, I'll say this. You know, the American Western ethos is take big risks, you reap big rewards. And we always see that side of it, the big reward side. We don't often get shown the downside of taking a big risk. There could be a big downfall. Like Luke said, Volkanovski now coming off a big knockout, which has repercussions both to, you know, how psychologically he goes into his next fight, how physically he goes into his next fight. I think was kind of jarring to hear that he only took the fight for his own mental health, that he wanted to stay busy, and that he was going a little bit insane. I thought that was kind of sad, actually. But
sad. I mean, it was very sad, and I'm glad you touched on that. I mean, I'd like to put a pin in that and talk about that for a second because, I mean, that was really scary, you know. And as a Volk fan, it makes you really fear for him, not just now, but in the future for when his career is over.
When he retires. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, you're just gonna do your head in, as you keep saying. Like, what the hell does that even mean? What does this Australian lingo mean? Is this something very, very dark that I've never heard of?
Yeah, he's not even that far from his last fight, and his next fight wouldn't have been that far ahead. So I don't know.
And you know, he's having surgeries, recovering. It's like at least there's a process in place of like, you know, he had the elbow surgery, road recovery. It's like there are milestones and checkpoints along the way that I feel could have at least been sort of carried on, sticking him into realizing everything's okay. But yeah, that was really, really weird. Understandable, you know. I mean, it wasn't. I get it. I understand because the part of it I understand is to feel like the sky is falling when everything's going great. I mean, you know, Dan, you just got married. Alex, you got a great job. I have a beautiful daughter. Everything's going great. But sometimes we all probably feel like Volkanovski feels, where it's like, and I think that truthfully, it's a little PTSD just from, you know, the last 4 years of kind of weirdness that we've had in this country. I mean, I'm not saying it's like gigantic and insurmountable PTSD, but I think that if you're trying to find what's wrong with your head and why things just don't feel natural, I think that sometimes, you know, I've been blaming myself a lot. Sometimes I'm like, you know, maybe it's time I blame the world around me. And it's like any normal person would feel the way I feel, you know, if the world was so uncertain, right? I mean, if you're paying, I don't know about you guys. I go to the grocery store, it's expensive. I go to the gas station, it's expensive. You know what I mean? Like the world around you, if it wasn't for gambling, what would I even have? I wouldn't even have hope.
Yo, is it legal for these bulls at the Phillies game to be standing on top of that thing?
You're watching the Phillies game. So look, the Phillies are playing right now. You want to give a little Phil's talk? Like, what's going on? What's the score?
Yeah, it's top of the second. 1-0 count.
The unauthorized reproduction of this game, even in it, will not be tolerated, Alex. Stop. I was kidding. It was a test. There will be no unauthorized reproduction of the game.
Fair enough. Fair
It
enough.
doesn't matter what you think.
So yeah, I mean that was really. I don't think it's going to be a good road back for Volk at this point. And you know the only good news about all this is that the protect this man at all costs clan of our sport got a little bit sadder. Just like with Robert Whittaker, they took all those people. They went from Robert Whittaker to Dustin Poirier. They went from Dustin Poirier to Volkanovski. And now those protect this man at all costs. He's so cute and adorable, and I just want to hug him, and I want him to be my daddy and also my son and my baby. You know, these weirdos of our sport who just like infantilize fighters and like post memes and shit that are like, whoever the guy was that posted, I think he was like, nice kick, haha. That's what Volkanovski just said after losing a title shot. I mean, golly, this guy is just so darn cool. He's just so what a guy. What a guy. The fawning needs to stop. The fawning needs to stop. Like, these are grown men. Like, they're fighters. They are not cute little stuffed animals at the Build-A-Bear workshop, all right? They're not Pokemon cards you fucking collect and fucking put in your wallet, all right? They're grown men, okay? And they don't care about you.
There goes your PSA 10.
Yeah, no, there goes my PSA grade 10. I don't care. That's what this one's for. Anyway.
Oh.
Original packaging. I'm just so sick of people like. Let's talk about let's talk about the dress down list. So we're gonna have a dress down list at the beginning of these shows. Folks who just have committed sins that we need to really punish them for. So number one, Justin Gaethje. I mean, Justin Gaethje to me is he really, when he knocked out Dustin Poirier, he brought himself back above into the positive with me. He made me like him just enough to not hate him. Now his fat ass sitting on the sidelines hitting dabs on Instagram Live. Now showing up to the fight and getting in the corner of Kamaru Usman when you couldn't go there to fight yourself and Kamaru could, bro, you are a crumb bum. Justin Gaethje is a fat crumb bum. He's not tough. That's before dishonor, bro. You've dishonored people in Abu Dhabi time and time again. Not only did you get choked out to sleep in front of your parents after tapping, and then had Khabib drag his Dagestani balls across your face and chin while you were asleep. Go back, watch the tape, guys. Guys, go watch the tape. That's exactly what happened. So not only did he do that, death before dishonor, tattooed on his body, taps out, proving he did not want to be choked to sleep. Still gets choked to sleep. So now two things have happened. You cowered, you did the coward thing, you tapped, and then you also went to sleep. So you said, I don't want this to happen. I don't want this to happen. It happened. Something happened against your will. So you know what you say, Justin, if two men can hold you down. So what I'm trying to say is Justin Gaethje on, doing drugs on Instagram. I've seen videos, right? We've seen videos of him doing dabs. I don't know, doing stuff on Instagram. And Justin Gaethje couldn't show up to fight because he was doing drugs. So that's why I don't like him anymore now. And
he was offered to fight. Just to clarify, he was offered to fight.
Islam turned it down, and now is saying that he deserves the next fight. And he goes, he's like, I got a big mountain to climb. I'm next. No, you're not. You're retired now. Now you're done. Nobody even likes you anymore. We all hate you now. And honestly, I do want him to fight Islam Makhachev because I know he will be destroyed by Islam Makhachev. Like it'll be way worse than Volkanovski. You know what I mean? So I love it in terms of just like seeing him getting hurt and defeated again. But I don't love it in terms of all the people who are going to be like, yay, Justin Gaethje, protect this man at all costs. Don't protect him at all costs. Expose him for the coward that he is. He wouldn't go in there and do what Volkanovski did. I can't make weight. Stop eating. Stop eating entirely. We'll start there. Get close.
Put down the fork.
Get Gamrot in the back burner. Gamrot will fill in if you can't make the weight, but get close. Make an effort. Try. I don't know. That's just how I was raised. Try.
I thought Gamrot was the backup.
He was.
But he's the backup day of. That's what everyone's so confused about that. He's not the backup in case something happens days before. He's the backup for the day of.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
interesting.
Justin Gaethje, complete crumb bum. The fact that he showed his face there when he wouldn't fight Makhachev, but he's there literally the fight before, like crazy. And then his buddy Kamaru is fighting up in weight against a fucking harder guy and does better. You know what I mean? It's like, and then I don't know, it was truly disgusting behavior. Darren Till, again, he's on the dress down list. We hate Darren Till, guys. If you like this show, you cannot like Darren Till. You have to hate him with us because he's a bum and he sits on the sidelines and talks shit and dude does God knows what else. So dumb with Darren Till. Mike Perry is Darren Till's daddy, And the funniest part about all this is they've swapped. Because when it all started out, Darren Till was the one fighting Woodley for the title. Remember the whole thing with him and Perry, and they went and sparred, and he was saying, "You want to go to the spa?" And he said,
"Spa."
Yeah, there was the whole cuteness, the whole cute thing, protect these men at all costs. Everybody thought that was so cute, right? So now these two cutie pies, Darren Till was kind of big man in him because he was in the weight class, I think above maybe at that time, or at least was just like better and higher up in the rankings.
I think they were both
170,
always
right?
welterweight. Yeah.
Okay, so Till was just higher up in the rankings, and Perry was losing fights, and he was the sloppier of the two strikers. Guys, I'm going to be completely honest with you. Mike Perry's a better striker than Darren Till today. He's a much better striker than Darren Till today. If they fought in any kind of arena, Mike Perry wins that fight 100%. So I can't wait to see it happen. Darren Till can take all the Brazilian supplements he wants, while he's down there not visiting his child, but instead, I don't know. I hate Darren Till. All right, let's move on.
Co-main event.
Oh. What?
I said co-main event. What do we think of Usman's performance?
Well, can I get a fucking word in about any of this? Jesus Christmas.
I just want to let everybody know, guys.
Go ahead, Alex.
I'm going to take a water break. The water of the week is Saratoga still. Natural spring water. We got we're only drinking really high quality water on the show now, so 28 fluid ounces. You cannot say I'm dehydrated.
You just opened it. You just opened it. You are dehydrated until proven otherwise. Guys, we have EA Sports has had the curse of Madden for years. Now we are in the era of the curse of the UFC game, fellas.
Ooh.
Do you know who was on the cover this year?
No
the game
idea.
that comes out this week. Volkanovski, Israel Adesanya, and Valentina Shevchenko.
Wow.
Game before that, Israel Adesanya, right before he gets knocked out to Alex Pereira. Jorge Masvidal before he gets knocked out by Kamaru Usman. Before that, Ronda Rousey, Conor McGregor, right before they both lost. It's an epidemic, guys. We need to defend our fighters from the UFC covers at all costs. Luke's talking about defending guys at all costs. Only people I want defended at all costs is anybody who will sign that contract to commit to career suicide by being on the cover of the UFC game.
I think it's just indicative of the natural rise and decline of athletes, right? You're going to be on the game because you're at your peak. EA Sports, they want to sell the game as much as they can, so they take the guys and gals when they're at their peak. But then, of course, that's when the natural decline comes. So it's not so much that it's the curse of the game. It's just that's the natural run of things. You know what I mean?
Then explain what happened to Peyton Hillis, okay?
Well, he was just he was a one and done like from the start. So
well, when it comes to I think exactly what you said, Dan, is true. And also they get a lot more money when they're at that level. So now they don't have as much to fight for.
Right.
I mean,
right.
I was actually turning this over in my mind, and if it wasn't for Izzy getting cracked and dropped a little bit in that first round, I would have thought. So there's two fights that I think was 5D chess going on. Demetrius Johnson versus Henry Cejudo. I think he just lost it on purpose close. Johnson lost the fight on purpose close.
To get out, to cut ties.
Yeah. Champions clause. You got to get out. Izzy, Sean Strickland, feels the same. It feels like and then he's like, I got to take a break. It's like, feels like you had this all planned out before. Feels like this is what you want. Feels like you wanted to lose the belt, but have a way back to it. You because now you can fight. It was close. Fight Sean Strickland. It was such a good build up with all the shit talking. I don't know. It just something feels fishy about it. And then some guy was showing this video of the Logan Paul Dylan Dennis fight where the clock disappears with 10 seconds left and he keeps his clock going. And it was like 20
John
seconds.
Wayne Parr made this assessment in real time. As soon as it was done, John Wayne Parr, Joe Rogan's best friend from Down Under, he called that out. He was like, dude, this went like 20, 30 seconds past the bell. Like, you can read the clock right there. It says 10 seconds. But who knows? They're in England, Luke. It could be like soccer. There's extra time. They do all this weird shit. There's only 2 people in the whole stadium. Who knows how much extra time there actually is? So they had KSI out there hold up the little sign. 20 more seconds, mate. Logan, go for it, mate. 20 more seconds. That was a robbery.
Yeah. They're on the metro system.
Metro.
Metric.
They're on the metric system. So they it's a macro second.
Yes.
Macro seconds. So Khamzat Chimaev, he's on the dress down list too, guys. You can't be talking as much shit as Khamzat Chimaev in the way that he does and be not good against a 12.
One more comment. Islam looked juiced to the gills. He looked like he had all the steroids in his body, allegedly. Just my opinion. That's just my opinion. He looked like somebody who was on steroids, in my opinion. I don't know for sure. Do not sue me.
Yeah, no, he for sure did. And Dan, when it comes to Khamzat Chimaev, you can't keep talking this shit and saying, I smashed everybody, I destroy everybody, and then perform like that. I mean, it was completely lay and pray. Khamzat, this is a message to you. Khamzat, you lay and pray guy? You lay and pray guy? Are you afraid to strike with Kamaru Usman? Colby wasn't. Colby Covington was not. He went 10 rounds with Kamaru Usman, never afraid to strike with him, even after having a broken jaw. You afraid to strike with Kamaru Usman guy? You guy who wants to lay and pray, sniff crotch guy? That's you guy? So that's Khamzat, right? And that's him now, right? So we have to just use the evidence we have and move forward, guys. I'm sick of all this colorization of everything. This is who we have now. Khamzat Chimaev is the guy who fights once a year. He fights scared. He doesn't go for the finishes. He gasses out in the first round. He has a draw with a undersized, short-notice opponent. That's who he is. Stop treating it as anything differently. Kevin Holland sucks as a fighter, isn't very good, and quits easily, broken mentally. So that's what that was. Gilbert Burns, also a guy who failed against Usman, failed against Belal Muhammad, only succeeds when nobody expects anything of him yet, you know what I mean? And he doesn't have a lot of pressure on him. And Khamzat struggled with him. So Khamzat, you knocked out GM3. Cool. No one cares. You knocked out Reese McKee. Cool. No one cares. He's
a hammer. He's not a nail. I've been telling you this.
Don't forget about the white Mike Tyson.
There's quite literally nothing impressive about Khamzat Chimaev that he has shown us in that cage. Quite literally nothing. So, and people want to make it seem like you have to grade on curves, guys. Yeah, he got Usman back for 5 minutes. Okay, cool. We're grading on a curve. Usman has no knees. Usman is 12 days notice. Usman is undersized. So
13 years older, or whatever it is.
Wrestle. Like, everyone's like, Usman's a D1 wrestler. Yeah, he was in D1. Now it's 20 years later.
D2.
Yeah, D2. So he doesn't wrestle, guys. When you see him training, in the fucking open workout, he wrestled Justin Gaethje. That's not what he's doing any other time. He's fucking hitting mitts with Trevor Whitman.
Shadow boxing with the eggs.
Yeah. Trevor Whitman's got these guys in there. Like, Trevor Whitman, really, they should arrest him, take his sewing machine away, smack him in the face. Trevor Whitman should have to do slap fighting.
Wait, you're telling me that Trevor Whitman makes him train with something the size and shape of an egg weight? That is malicious. As far as I think that egg weights might be one of the worst thing that's ever been made ever since hearing Deontay Wilder. I don't want to come within 50 feet of an egg weight. If anybody comes at me with an egg weight in sight, I will take that as an act of violence.
Speaking of Deontay Wilder, speaking of the Gypsy King, we are going to be breaking down Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou in the Fine Tooth Comb Club via the Patreon. Access it through the portal. Get in there because we have some intense news and hot information for you. So, Paulo Costa didn't get to fight, but he did punch somebody in the crowd. We got to talk about that. That was funny.
That was sick.
Yeah. But also, I got to say this. So we'll get back into Paulo later. Paulo would have beat Khamzat on the night.
Paulo would have. Bo Nickel would have. Roman Dolidze would have.
Jared Cannonier.
Driscus Duplessis would have.
Israel
Adesanya. Sean Strickland, who is apparently the next fight. And Sean Strickland said it best, guys. He says, he is.
I won't support that. I won't support that.
No, not at all.
No.
Sean Strickland said, no, he's not deserving. I'm still going to fight the guy, but he's not deserving. So you beat a welterweight off the couch in 11 days notice.
I will support Sean in not fighting him and refusing to fight him. How about that? I will support Sean in refusing to fight him because he didn't do enough in the middleweight division to earn a title shot. Driscus Duplessis knocked out Robert Whittaker. There is no reality in America or the world at large where you knock out Robert Whittaker and don't end up in a title shot your next fight. So you don't go undefeated in a weight class and beat the number one contender, and then some guy passes you by beating a guy who's not in the weight class. That just doesn't happen.
Not in the weight class, 11 days notice. It's all terrible. And as somebody who bet first round submission for Khamzat Chimaev, I was furious after the first round. Guys, picture, if you will, a way that I could go into the night not caring who won in the main event, not giving an absolute fuck if Alexander Volkanovski got knocked out in the first round, because I had Islam Makhachev as well. All we needed for that was Khamzat to get a finish at one time. But no. He cannot finish a guy even when he's rolling off of the couch. At least Islam Makhachev put Alexander Volkanovski, a far better fighter than Kamaru Usman, to sleep.
He covered the spread.
And
Khamzat did not cover the spread.
Khamzat didn't even come close to covering the spread. If I had two different versions, Khamzat just to get a finish, Khamzat first round submission. Then I could have gone into the main event. Whatever happens. I'm going home happy. But no. Khamzat Chimaev, a jobber. And there were a lot of jobbers on this card, boys. I don't feel safe with my money anymore. Khamzat is going to get destroyed by Sean Strickland. It will be the exact same fight as Sean Strickland versus a Nurmagomedov. That is exactly how that fight's going to go. He's going to get backpacked just like Kamaru Usman. He's going to be sitting there just defending because this guy, he get brown belt guy, he doesn't even know how to do submission guy. That's what I'm thinking the entire time watching this fight. He doesn't know how to do submissions. He sits here, he says his hand's broken. You know what? Uriah Faber broke both of his hands in a fight. You know what he did? He elbowed him. You have so many more options than just your hands, and you only lost one of them. And you took the Kevin Holland, you're going to start making excuses after the fact. No, you made a business decision in there, and guess what? A judge scored it a draw. It probably should have been a draw, the way that fight went. I could have scored one of those rounds for Kamaru Usman. After the first round, Khamzat Chimaev didn't land any damage whatsoever. But I'm sure there were a couple of crab in the bucket, judges out there. They're like, no way, brother. It doesn't matter, brother. It doesn't matter that you have Usman last name, brother. You still don't get it.
Listen, here's the reality. Usman spiked his head into the fucking ground in that first round. So for damage, he did more damage.
100%.
Usman landed the more effective strikes in round 2 and round 3. The takedown Khamzat got after round 1 wasn't effectual at all. So Usman had to draw in that fight. Or he won because was it really a 10-8 in the first round? I mean, he had the control position, but there was no damage. And it wasn't like he was transitioning like flawlessly. He was ending up getting spiked in his head, for example. That proves not dominant. You know, it can't be dominant if that happens to you. So happened to Tim Elliott. He got knocked the fuck out. So Magomed Ankalaev, big idiot too. Big idiot. Stupid crybaby idiot who constantly is crying about everything and being a dumbass. Fool. Magomed Ankalaev, you better shape up. So
he's unbettable. He's unbettable. All these fights that he's involved in are so weird.
Yeah.
You know,
you're the guy. You're crazy, Ankalaev, if you think that you are getting anywhere fast in the sport. You're getting nowhere fast. You have lead weight strapped to you. You are never getting another fight ever again. We are done with you. So,
Luke, I gave you a guarantee before this fight, and you know exactly what it was, that both these guys won't win. Both these guys, Islam Makhachev and Magomed Ankalaev. Sadly, I was incorrect about how that would happen. I thought that, if Islam wins, Johnny Walker's winning. If Volk wins, Magomed Ankalaev's winning. But at the end of the day, no one won. Everybody was sitting there angry.
Yeah. And Johnny Walker, big idiot too. For even just doing any of it. Like for any of the things that he did, like getting kneed, dumb. Allowing the ref to stop it after the knee happened, dumb. Milking it at all, dumb. Or just not being instantly ready to. It was all dumb. But the thing about the desert thing, it's like, I get it. I don't know what I would have said either. I wouldn't have known what the hell.
The UAE wasn't even a country 20 years ago, was it?
Saudi Arabia, Dubai. What's it? There's the other one. Dubai, Saudi Arabia, UAE. What's the other one that people go to? Abu Dhabi. Those, I don't know which one of those is a country, which one of those is a state, which one of those is a city. I don't know.
No idea.
UAE is the country, and Abu Dhabi.
I knew that too, Dan. I'm trying to make a point.
Okay, all right.
Well, I didn't know that. I'm happy. That was very informative, Dan. I appreciate it.
UAE is the planet. Saudi Arabia is a different thing, though.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I think. I don't know.
We're all in the continent of Africa. Where?
Asia.
No one knows. So, it's not Triple B certified. That's all I'll say. Okay. So yeah, dumbasses. Left there off. Great on you. Nurmagomedov. Great on you. You picked him, Dan. That was a very easy open and shut guillotine. Makayev, he's a beast. He's awesome. We love him. Trevor Peek.
No, we don't. We don't love Makayev. He could have got Tim Elliott out of there 7 ways to Tuesday, even before that happened.
He took the under. He got him out of there, and he lost a couple rounds. And Tim Elliott's he's nobody's fool. He was going to go in there and put up a fight the whole time. He knocked Tim Elliott out and submitted him, though. He knocked him out with the head.
No, he is a fool. Tim Elliott is a fool. He's a natural-born quitter. And I knew that once something got a little hairy, he was going to quit. He is a natural-born quitter.
Natural-born quitter.
That's my boy. Shut the hell up.
If he went to a decision, he would have won. Did you guys not see that?
Yeah, true. And listen, Dan, I said that fight was going to end with Tim Elliott going. Remember? I said that. I said I see it in my mind's eye. Tim Elliott, he's going ah. He did. So all right, Trevor Peek, so amazing. Fuck that Muhammad Yahya guy. You come in here against Trevor Peek, he out wrestles you, shows you what American wrestling is really all about. Muhammad Yahya, you're cut from the UFC, and then Abu Azaitar also probably should be cut from the UFC.
Grabbing the hair, huh?
I don't care about that. That's part of the uniform to me. I think that should be allowed.
Like football.
Yeah.
My thing on Magomed Ankalaev, before we get too far past this, that should have been a DQ. Like, I've never seen much more of like a flagrant guy on the ground gets kneed in the head. I know Johnny Walker is the size of a Demetrius Johnson when he's on his knees, but like nonetheless, that knee to the head was so egregious and so crazy. It should have been a DQ. And especially, I mean, they probably would have given Johnny Walker the DQ, but the commotion afterwards, Magomed Ankalaev wasn't Mr. Putting the flower into the National Guard's gun, okay? He was in there like, yeah, let's fight with all these security guards also in here as well. Yeah. And then Johnny Walker goes up to him to apologize after, and Magomed Ankalaev punches him in the chest, which I haven't seen that move before, but I like it. I like the move, punching him in the chest. Magomed Ankalaev, loser, crybaby, you are right. I think he should be cut. Johnny Walker, yeah, I'm proud of the boss, Dana White, getting in the mix. Dana White got right in the mix and said, neither of you are going to be fighting here if you keep it up, and I will have the UAE do with you what they will, okay? You are not in America.
Out of here. And where they take you, no one will know.
He's like, you are not in America, my brother. You are not in Brazil, my brother. You guys need to calm the fuck down before I end up in jail.
Hey. They ain't gonna let their spotless crime statistics get plummeted by a Johnny Walker incident, all right? They don't need that to be the one criminal incident that's happened this year that splotches up their perfect stat sheet. It's so funny. They're like, we have no crime here. It's like, I'm sure. Hilarious. That makes
I will enjoy the next Live Golf tournament.
10 times more afraid to go to China, the UAE. Come on in. We have no crime. Okay. So what are you going to do with me if I get out of line to make me disappear so there still is no more crime? Because what if I just start doing crimes? Then you so, yeah, I'm not coming to your party. Sorry. I'd rather stay in America where I can do plenty of crimes. There's much more leniency with crimes in America.
Yeah, that party's lame.
Dude, yeah, I'm not into the whole go party in the Middle East thing. Like, wait, I can't party with even a person who I think is going to get mad at me. You know what I mean? For like if I say something, let alone a whole government. Like, I don't even want to go to Thailand. You know what I mean? You can't say shit about certain people in Thailand, the king and all that. It's like, I might by accident. I don't know. So I can't.
What if I just see the king walking around and say, oh, that's a weird looking guy? Am I in jail now?
I think at this point, you're not allowed to go to Thailand just for saying that.
I'm not even going to Thailand. You will not catch me in Thailand.
Can't train at Tiger Muay Thai.
They don't train there, Dan. You know what they're going to Thailand for. Nobody's training at Tiger Muay Thai. I'll tell you that much. Not a single person at Tiger Muay Thai has done a lick of training.
All right, well, that's good. You're going to stay at Tiger Schulman's.
You know why every workout at Tiger Muay Thai starts with a very long run away from the gym? Because they're all going to the Ladyboy district, okay? That's where they're running. That's where all these guys are running to.
That screen has been up way too much in the first 30 minutes.
We haven't even gotten started. That's just that's my sip screen, you know. So, all right. We talked about a lot. Javid Basharat, he's such a fucking beast. We got to bet on these Basharat brothers all day and all night long. They're so dedicated.
Bullshit nut shot. That didn't hit him in the nuts. That was a thigh shot.
It did hit him in the nuts, but it didn't look like it did. You're right about that. It did not look like it did, but apparently it did because he said that he was vomiting backstage. He had to go to the hospital. He said his nuts.
Listen,
he got an ultrasound on his nuts.
They said this is how big his nuts were, and I was laughing. So I made a joke. I was like, "Don't see a problem, Hoss."
Dan, guy like me Guy like me, you have no idea how many times they've rubbed that warm goo on my nuts just to check around, just to take a look, okay? And if you know anything about testicle torsion, you would know that it's not just based on impact. Sometimes it's based on movement. Your balls can just twist. Mine won't. They put a little wall in there for me. My balls ain't twisting anytime soon.
You are our resident testicular expert. So
yes, I am.
I'll take
if you know anything about me, I am the testicle expert of the PPP boys.
Yes.
From all personal experience.
All nutshot questions, just offer them up to your other king.
Yeah, and you know, Greg, our boy Greg, in the thing, he's like, let Luke kick you there as hard as he can, and then tell me it's not a nut shot. And I said, no.
How many times have your nuts gone under the knife?
Twice, but there was like 3 surgeries in one of them where they went in with a tube and then they slit my sack open across the middle.
And a girl, when you came off that surgery, some girl did nut tap you one time.
Yes, and I was furious. It took everything in me. If I were to ever indulge into violence.
Yeah, we get it. Statute of limitations is up on that one though, so I don't think you can go back and get a revenge shot or two. But
no vengeance. I'm not a vengeance-seeking lord.
Well, yeah, as Zatar, so you know, Victor Henry, hilarious that the same doctor who screwed Johnny Walker screwed Victor Henry. We all don't really need to talk about it. It's been talked about a lot, but like.
But I mean, Victor Henry's in there crying for 5 minutes, and then you ask Johnny Walker one question and get the fuck out. You hightail it out.
My thing is this: if you are in, like, these fighters need to be a little bit more self-preserving and go, "Yo, it's done. Get me out of here. I don't need 5 minutes. Now we're done. To the back. Let's go." There needs to be a little bit more of that. Victor Henry knew he wasn't going to fucking fight.
If you had a torsion in that situation, you're at risk every moment you don't go to the hospital of losing that testicle. I have a friend with 1 testicle from a torsion myself, and you know, it was because he didn't even realize they were twisted, and he got there just a little too late. 1 ball McGee now.
All right, this is all making me uncomfortable. We got to move on. Abu with Zatar, you know, that fight, Rodriguez Dumas absolutely sucks, but Zatar obviously sucks too. If he didn't end up in half guard for the entirety of the first round, he would have won the fight. I mean, there's never a reason to spend 4.5 minutes in Cedric Dumas's half guard. He is not a belt. He's just he's a serviceable fighter. You know what I mean? And that's being extremely generous. So that one killed me. Hated that. But man, one that I was happy. I did sprinkle Mike Breeden on a few parlays to be safe because I kind of, if you guys remember, we did the episode with Clint and I said, all right, well, Clint's like, we'll see who shits in the apple pie. I was like, it's going to be Mike Breeden. And that's the last thing I said before the episode ended. I said it as a joke, thinking that, you know, Mike Breeden, he's never won in the UFC. He's always getting smoked out. Like, this is an undefeated guy. But the more I thought about it, the more I was like, Mike Breeden's going to beat this guy's ass. And he did.
Yeah, the more you listen to
Hero of the night. Our first star of the night is Mike Breeden. He is the man. He did more for the United States, for the whole world, than anybody on that card. Mike Breeden, you are Patriot of the Month. You are Justin Gaethje's biological father, and you're allowed to make him hold your pocket whenever he sees you because you did more than Justin Gaethje's ever done on Abu Dhabi soil for America. So
I took Breeden on a solo live bet as soon as I heard him going complete iShow speed mode on this kid and barking at him mid-fight. I was like, oh boy, it's over. Mike Breeden, he has that dog in him. He's got that dog in him.
In the rules, it shows that you are not allowed to talk to your opponent during the fight. If I'm Drew Blee, I am fucking issuing a protest. I'm saying that the ref should have disqualified him. He was verbally abusing me, and that was not okay.
Jeez.
Yeah, nobody talks about
your opponent. That's an
It is a rule. It is a rule, and you will see some refs will tell them stop talking. You will. So
funny.
Mike Breeden's the man. Naimov. I know you guys bet on Wood, but everything I said was true. Nathaniel Wood looks like a puppet that came to life. He looks like a toy that a sorcerer enchanted to turn into a real boy. He is undersized, he's underskilled, and he's a dork with a bad haircut. He looks like he drives a Puke Creek green Honda Civic and vapes and works at Best Buy or Blockbuster. He's not worthy. So
this was a message to the world. The Middle East said, we no longer need the Bank of London. We don't need it anymore. We are our own independent superpower of the world, and we're coming. We got our own markets now.
And we'll cheat our way to the top. We don't give a fuck if Naimov grabs the cage 6 times, hits him in the balls once, knees him in the head on the ground twice. We don't even care. We don't even.
You don't like a fighter, like I don't like Nathaniel Wood, and you see him get cheated and beat. It's even better. It's all and you bet on the underdog in Naimov. You bet on the underdog Naimov. You don't like the other guy. And honestly, I don't even know why I'm saying this. Like Nathaniel Wood never did nothing to me. I don't know why I'm saying. It just feels fun to hate on Nathaniel Wood. It's fun. I'm enjoying it, so I'm gonna keep doing it.
And as the great Tito Ortiz once said, it was never no marriage. No, he said, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That's it. That's the quote I was looking for.
Well, Tim Elliott needed to cheat more. Tim Elliott, I needed some more glove grabs out of Tim. He's all about it. He said it openly. I will do it until told not to.
Tim Elliott is too much of a good guy, and that's why he got cucked in the first place. Okay, he's nice guys finish last, Dan. That's what you got to realize. Nice guys finish last, but Kevin Kroom also finished last on the weekend. So
speaking of which, your boy Nice Guy Turner just struck out with 2 guys on, down by 2.
Dude, this guy has been
booing him. Go back to booing him.
I mean, between him and Castellanos, man, I feel like every single ball that goes by them, they just swing like a motherfucker every time.
All the UFC fans who want to be like, Robert Whittaker, go to watch baseball. Go clap for Trey Turner when he's on a fucking slump. That's where they need you. They need you there. And those are the sports for you. Not UFC. Stay out of my sport. I hate you.
Go to any Philly sport game ever and find out how quickly Jalen Hurts will go from being clapped when he's walking out to the huddle and how quick he'll be getting booed walking out to the huddle. And he is a top 5 quarterback in the league. And people are like, I don't know about this Jalen Hurts guy.
I refuse to believe that.
I hear it on the broadcast. I mean, I don't know if they're booing at Nick Sirianni for bad decision making or if they're booing other people in general, but every time I'm like, okay, now they're clapping for Jalen. Now they're booing Jalen. It's like, dark side of the moon.
I need to control his emotions a little bit more. I love him as a coach. Is my only piece of advice. I just need him to control himself a little bit more. I need him to be a little bit more like my guy who coaches the Jets.
Robert Saleh?
Not all the way that way. Robert Saleh is too composed. Yeah,
I think he gets hyped up
a little bit more, than he won't lose that call against the Chiefs. You know what I mean? Those refs didn't fear him at all. They fucking let the Chiefs rot. You know what I mean? So I'm saying our guy, the refs definitely fear him, but he needs to just reel it in a little bit more.
Well, that's because Robert Saleh looks like the fucking aliens in Prometheus at the end, recreating the Earth. He's just a perfectly sculpted man with a beautiful bald head, and he takes no junk. He takes no bull junk whatsoever.
I know something about Robert Saleh. I just want him to be my mentor. Like I see him and I'm like, lead me. You know what I mean? So he's in the right profession for sure. All right. So what else do we got here? Let's go, guys.
Victoria Dudikova. Do we want to talk about her staph infection?
Yeah, I want to talk about her dirty butt.
There were multiple staph infections on this card.
That's a girl. Many people thought she said I got it all over my butt. And he's like, you think Victor Henry regrets doing this after he learned that? And it's him face planting into the canvas.
Dude, she said I got it on my butt in places I don't even want to mention. So let's.
You know what's funny, class? Audience,
DPD.
I've had a staph infection on my private area. Hand up. Hand up.
It happens.
That's flesh-eating bacteria on the one piece of flesh you don't want to have flesh-eating bacteria. And I had to go to a very fancy doctor in Brooklyn, New York, and he charged me a lot of money that I didn't pay for a very long time. So many letters were sent to my apartment, and then I paid it. But it's funny. You get medical invoices, and you just don't pay them. You ignore. Not financial advice, guys, by the way.
Yeah, put it up.
But then you call them, and they're so nice. You're like, yo, I can give you like, the bill's like $1,700. I'm like, I can give you like $30. And they're like,
that's a start.
Like, you do with $340. I'm like, a tenth of that.
That's what people don't understand about the tax man. If we all just decide we're not paying,
we're not powerful enough yet. There'll be a day, well, but not that day is not today. Creature from Jekyll Island. Patreon.com/perfectly. All right, let's go.
Sure, Putin. Last fight.
Yeah, sure. The one-eyed bandit. So, guys, it's just so funny to see Curtis break down this fight on the man dance. Chris Curtis, he broke down this fight. And he goes, How is this even allowed? How can you fight with one eye? I mean, like, I don't even. It's like, yeah, we know you don't know, bitch. We know you don't know.
Action Man, we love you.
We don't.
Those are Luke's opinions and not mine.
I'll spar Chris Curtis. Drop a location. I'll spar. I don't give a fuck. So the thing is, Chris, if we spar, I'm going for that eye. If we spar, I'm going for that eye. So, because I know that's your Achilles heel. You don't know how to fight with one eye. But me, some people in this world, let's
do the Kill Bill eye grab.
No, but anybody who wants to know if he's like if he actually has no vision in that eye, just go and watch his walkout because he was walking out and some guy went to high five him and he did not slap his hand. But then once it hit the peripheral part where he could kind of see, he kind of went back and realized he missed it. And it's like that's a big key. If someone's going to give you a high five on that side and you miss it, and you're high fiving on the left, he can't see on the right. But I love that guy. I think he's a great fighter. I don't love him. I shouldn't say that. I don't like what he did to that guy at the mall. You know what I mean? I don't think that.
No, not at
There was no audio there, so I don't really know the whole story there.
And he got his ass kicked in the first round. First round, he lost 10-8, and then he had to go outside and wait around the corner.
Yeah, that was crazy. But I like him, though. Even though he did that, and that's kind of not cool, I still like him.
But I want to do that to everybody kissing their girlfriend every time I see them in public. Like,
you should send him to Six Flags.
Oh my gosh, dude!
All those couples in the line at Six Flags holding each other, he just can go off, dude. He'll come back with a necklace full of ears and teeth and bone.
No, only eyes.
I love it. But I mean, he really did. I mean, he got taken down like a lot in that fight and didn't look that great off of his back. Even though he was landing a lot of damage, I don't like the complacency of being willing to stay there and trust that that's going to be judged the same in every jurisdiction.
Yeah. It looks like he had no idea of how to get up.
He loses that fight. Yeah.
Silva has
it's crazy.
Pound.
And it's crazy.
I'm not saying because he's Muslim or it's in Abu Dhabi. I'm saying because some judges judge that way in terms of damage, and some judge can still 6 years ago style.
Yeah, and I mean, I would have thought that the eye would impact the stand-up more, like not seeing strikes come, but maybe he just didn't know which way was up. It's like getting caught in an avalanche, and you don't know which way is up when you're under the snow. But if you're ever in that position, you got to see which way gravity's going, boys.
I would be one of the best judges, but because I did this podcast, I probably will never be able to judge. You know what I mean?
Never.
Like, dude, you're so biased. You can't judge Darren Till's fight. I have to wait till everybody I hate leaves the sport, and I have to not pay attention to the sport at all, so I don't learn to hate any of them, because that'll happen. I'll replenish all the ones that leave. I'll find new people to hate. All right, well, with that...
But before we wrap up the card, I know we gave Hamzat a real hard time, but his post-fight press conference, absolutely touching, sweet. Nobody wants to see babies die.
But then he started saying that he wants to... See, he said that part in English, but the part he was saying in the other language, he was saying, like, they translated it, and it was like, give me a gun, I'll go over there.
I didn't know that.
He's like, I wasn't born to fight in a cage. I was born to fight for Palestine. Give me a rifle and send me over. That's what he said. So, I don't know if he was all for peace as much as he fucking says he was.
Dude, him and Mia Khalifa are about to lose their jobs for their radical views.
No, so anyway, that kind of wraps up the whole card. I mean, we really went through it with a fine-tooth comb, so you're welcome for that. Those are our thoughts. Don't fall into the hype, guys. Don't buy into this bullshit. Like, I'm telling you, this is the place you will get the truth. Everywhere else, I gotta wonder. There were some other people who really, oh, by the way, me and Alex, we've been watching these fight cards on mute. So, like, our opinion is to be taken seriously because a lot of what was happening during the no contest situations, I had no idea what was even going on. So what I'm like, I missed a lot of that drama. I had to learn about it after the fact. But if you hear Paul Felder's voice, you hear Michael Bisping's voice, you gotta mute that commentary. You gotta mute it. So I muted every time they're on. Daniel Cormier was having a real hard time doing the weigh-in show. This will be the last thing we say about last week's card because I do want to touch on this. He was having a real hard time at the weigh-in show because he had Paul Felder and Belal Muhammad as the two guests, right? And now Daniel Cormier is money on these weigh-in shows. That is where he thrives. That is his YouTube channel, the weigh-in show, and the commentary. Those three arenas for DC, he is really doing
He's getting a little lubricated with the Modelos on the weigh-in show. He's having a good time.
He's so lubed up. He's having so much fun. It is so great. I love it. I love seeing it. And I just want to show this. So they do these little games. I watch the weigh-in show every time it happens. I love it. I watch it from beginning to end. You will hear tidbits of information. You'll hear behind-the-scenes stuff. It's great. It really helps. So I watch every single second of it. And I was on the plane, and I was watching this, flying out to Jacksonville on Friday. And this, they do little games or lists where it'll be like top 5 most well-rounded fighters. So what the guests always do is they just try to like edge in their friends. You know what I mean? And it's super annoying, and nobody likes it. And they think they're being slick, right? But this is just a funny example of that happening. One of the many times it happened. And DC will call out Belal Muhammad. DC will roast Belal Muhammad. He destroys Belal Muhammad. It's so funny.
Another one-eyed freak.
Yeah, another guy who can't fight with one eye. We know that. And another guy who is going to just go nowhere fast in this sport. So look, this was Belal Muhammad's list for top 5 most well-rounded fighters in the UFC. First one's obvious, right? That's his boy. Second one, he just threw in there so he didn't seem like a shill. So the John Jones one was just bullshit. Like he just threw that one in there just so he could seem like he had some relative.
He wanted to make DC feel bad on the desk.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and he did say that too, because when DC made fun of his list, because DC said, he goes, "You're just gonna put a bunch of your friends up there," and he goes, all right. Well, John Jones, that's somebody who think about his well-roundedness, DC. So yeah, he did try to throw shade at DC too.
Top 5 most well-rounded fighters was this list.
Islam Makhachev, that's one of his friends. John Jones, that's a fake pick. Alexander Volkanovski, fake pick, recency bias. The guy they're talking about on the card that night got it. He knew he had to do that. Then 4 and 5, Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill is like his friend. He plays basketball. DC cracked up at this. He was like, Belal, Jamal Hill, who has never thrown a kick or a takedown in a fight. He does 1s and 2s. He's a boxer. What are you talking about? And he's like, he's well-rounded. He did pretty good stopping those takedowns. Like, that's not well-roundedness, dude. That's not well-roundedness, stopping a takedown. So Jamal Hill and then Kamaru Usman. So it's like, yeah, you're friends with Kamaru Usman. You're friends with Jamal Hill. You're friends with Islam. Like, we get it. And Belal Muhammad is just so ugly and irredeemable. I think I had a video on here, too. Hold on.
And another...
I got a good one. Hold on, I got a good one. I got a great one. Stay down here. I love this, dude. So here's the true cowardice. This is the cowardice of Belal Muhammad. Label this, timestamp this out. The cowardice of Belal Muhammad. Okay. I made it real easy for you. Okay, I'm going to make my screen big. No, I'm just going to do it like this.
Back just to motivate him to stay at lightweight. It's like, stop talking about welterweight. Stay down here. Work on your legacy at lightweight. You have plenty of guys that you can fight. Justin, Charles. Like, let's stay at lightweight right now.
I say fiction just because 2020.
Okay, so now just for some context, what that was about was the question was Islam can pass Khabib's lightweight legacy, fact or fiction, right? So they were saying like that he could pass Khabib's lightweight legacy, and they were saying should he move up to 170? And then Belal goes, he said,
I'm gonna say fact just to motivate him to stay at lightweight. Like,
I'm gonna say fact just to motivate him to stay at lightweight.
Stay down here. Talking about what's
Look how frustrated his face is, though. You got to see this part.
Like, stop talking about what's way. Stay down here.
Yeah, you kind of saw it.
Your legacy at
Justin Charles, stay at lightweight right now. That's it. He goes, you got plenty of guys to fight Justin Charles, stay at lightweight right now. Yeah, because you don't want him to fucking leap over you and leave you in the dust at 170, take the belt, or just get in the way of your plans, and then you wouldn't even be able to fight him because you're friends, right? You would never fight one of your brothers. Oh, yeah. Fuck you, Belal Muhammad. You're a coward. You want him to stay back so you can get your shot. You know you can't beat him either. You know you can't beat Islam Makhachev. So Belal's such a coward, dude.
Even worse, what he said this past weekend.
Press, like using a political pulpit to like say, you know what I mean? Like using that as his sounding board to like get these little messages out, thinking he's manipulating guys like me. You think you're manipulating guys like me, Belal? You're sadly fucking mistaken, because I'm a smart man. I am a UFC fan, and I know what time it is, and you are never gonna pull the wool over my eyes, Belal. You are never, ever, ever going to pull the wool over my eyes.
And he also said this past weekend that him beating Leon Edwards will cement him as the greatest welterweight of all time over guys, that defended the belt 10,
How's
9.
that going to happen when he ends up fighting Leon in a 3-round co-main event when Leon loses the belt to Colby, and that's Leon's next fight after when they give him Belal Muhammad and they don't give him Colby.
Exactly. And then Islam fights Colby.
You fight Leon in a 3-round fight, or a 5-round main event fight night kind of thing, since they had that no contest, and then you lose to Leon. And that's what happens. And then you never fight for a title ever.
And part of the history is missed on this.
And like, why do I need to be mean to Belal? Because he's a mean guy. He's mean. When you try to manipulate me, you're being mean. So now I'm being mean back. You did it first.
And Belal Muhammad was absolutely losing that fight before he got picked in the
And he
eye.
said bad things about Philadelphia. Don't forget.
I will never forget that.
What did he say?
He said Philly's a dump. It's a shithole.
He said cheesesteaks suck too. He said Philly's a shithole. Nothing good ever came out of Philly. And
you know what? Enjoy Chicago. Enjoy selling groceries in Chicago.
Okay, Belal, I hope as your punishment you have to live in Chicago your whole fucking life. That's the punishment I wish upon you. I hope you never get to leave Chicago. I hope you fucking live and die there, you bitch. Chicago is the worst D-list city. It's not even as good as Boston. Let's be real. Chicago sucks.
True. Boston's way better than Chicago.
We're done. Okay. We have a lot to get through. We have 14 fights to break down for the fine people, the fine audience. We hope you enjoyed it. If you like any of the people that we were talking about, just be like happy that you get to enjoy them and we don't. You know what I mean? We have to feel this intense hatred, and it's like eating away and corrosive to my insides. But let's move on. Jailton Almeida taking on Derek Lewis. This is UFC Fight Night. Almeida versus Lewis. UFC São Paulo. UFC 1104, November 4th, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 14 fights so far. I'm sure a lot will drop off. A lot of familiar names. Let's get into it. Jailton Almeida, main event, 19-2, taking on 27-11 Derek Lewis, the heavyweight knockout king, the man who has the record for most knockouts in the division, the man who has the record for the most knockouts in the UFC. He is 38 years old, 263 pounds, 6'3", 79-inch reach. Same exact metrics.
Look at it, Dan. Look at it.
Same exact metrics as his opponent, except his opponent is coming in 30 pounds lighter, something I always love to look for. 30 pounds lighter, 6 years younger. It's a no-brainer for me. I'm taking Jailton Almeida, and that is that.
Sorry, we got some hanky-panky going on over here in the comments. I'm going with Almeida Mania hitting Sao Paulo one Saturday from this coming Saturday. Dang, I can't believe no UFC this weekend. Such a bummer. Derek Lewis, not going to stand a chance against this guy. The takedowns will be there all night, although Lewis does have an underrated get-up game, but ultimately, I just feel like Almeida by sub might be the play here. He's going to get that hand underneath that chin at some point in time, even while Lewis is trying to make his way back up, build his base. He's not going to be paying attention enough to that hand going deep under the neck, and ultimately getting the finish there. I like Almeida here. And if you want, you know what, Derek Lewis by knockout as your hedge, it's the perfect hedge. It's going to be like plus 1,000. So win-win.
Oh, fuck. You're going to make me bet on Derek Lewis. Oh, fuck.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Come on.
I mean, like, jiu-jitsu doesn't work, for one. Jiu-jitsu doesn't work. Derek Lewis, his get-up game is better than anybody. But, you'd have to be a fool. You'd have to be a fool here to go with Derek Lewis. I mean, Jailton Almeida, he's lost fights, guys. He's lost fights,
I'm seeing currently that on bestfightodds.com, Jailton Almeida is minus 188 on Bet365.
What? Oh my gosh. Dump the truck. Dump the truck.
Right, my mom's the only person I know who's on Bet365, so I'm going to text her right now. Mom, bet.
He's literally a minus like 600 on DK.
Yeah, that can't be accurate.
No. They didn't update it. It's Curtis Blades. Yeah. I see it now. It's Jailton Almeida versus Curtis Blades. I was like, what? Let me go put $1,800 on Jailton Almeida right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to roll with Jailton, but I hate the price tag. Yeah.
Finish. It's a 5-round fight. Derek Lewis is never sticking around for 5 rounds against Jailton Almeida.
But we haven't seen Jailton Almeida do much for very long. We haven't seen.
He's 6 years younger, 30 pounds less. Derek Lewis has toothpick legs that he's going to be able to ankle pick all day, all night. He's going to choke him out very easily. Kimura, choke. Derek Lewis is doing this for a fucking free vacation, dude. He's going to Brazil. He's getting paid $1 million, probably 3, and he's taking this fight on short notice. So what am I trying to say here? It's just like a it's not real.
No, I agree. I agree with everything you're saying. I think Jonathan Almeida is going to win, but anything can happen. It's a heavyweight division, and
heavyweight. He's a 38-year-old heavyweight weighing in at the limit, and you think he can go 25 minutes? That's not even.
That's not that old. I feel like Randy Couture won the belt at 45. I mean,
he can go 25 minutes. Or yeah, he did.
He did.
But he's weighed like 220. I'm talking about a man who weighs 265. If you're not on EPO, you cannot go 25 minutes at 265. That's why you ever see these NFL athletes, every time they come off the fucking field, they're on the Aerodyne bike. And you wonder, you're like, why are they on that? Why is a 290-pound lineman, on a fucking Aerodyne bike during this football game? You would think that would be when he was recouping his energy, right? You'd think that would be.
They don't exhaust a lot of energy, Luke. They play over the span of like a 4-hour NFL game. There's like 3 minutes of action,
right? But the game's an hour long at least. So like for an hour, every time they're not on the field, they're still on that Aerodyne bike. Dude, it's kind of like when you hear about those fucking Tour de France people who had to get off the bus and ride next to the bus because of what EPO does. It makes you have to work out, So I don't know. I think EPO is a lot more prevalent than people think. But if you're 265, if you're not on EPO, there's no way you're going 25 minutes. Simple as that.
Fair enough. Jonathan Almeida it is, Triple P certified.
Woo! All right, easy one. Let's move on. Next, we got Gabriel Bonfim versus Nicolas Dalby. Two guys. Actually, Bonfim's brother is the disappointing one. Who lost his last fight against Benoit Saint-Denis. But this Bonfim is undefeated. Meratinha, he's taking on the Danish Dynamite, Nicolas Dalby. Nicolas Dalby, another 38-year-old, 12 years older than his opponent, coming in 2 inches shorter with a slight reach advantage. The Denmark fighter is almost 39. He'll be 38 in 11 months when the fight happens. You don't see a lot of 39-year-old welterweights. This is the easiest pick of the card. Minus 400 is generous. It's Gabriel Bonfim all day, all night. 6 ways till Sunday.
Gabriel Bonfim has not seen a second round since 2022 March. It's been a year, and guess how many fights he's had since then? 4. So it's not like that's. I know that's only a year, but he's had 4 fights within that, or 5 fights. No, 4 fights within that time. So only seen past the first round 4 times in his career, besides the ones that we don't have exact methods of victory. So, I mean, I love this one. I'm taking Gabriel Bonfim, and I'm probably going to sprinkle a little something on first round finish.
Yeah, this card seems to be exactly like UFC Noche a couple weeks back. All the hometown guys are primed up for a relatively easy win. I see this as exactly the same, especially for this co-main event. This is the uber impressive Bonfim going up against the overachieving Nicolas Dalby. I don't see how this goes over a round and a half, let's say. I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to have a loaded up parlay with a bunch of favorites. Just a little sneak peek for the rest of the card here. Give me Gabriel Bonfim.
Yes, love it. Okay, Triple B certified first 2, co-main and main. Now let's go to Dontel Mays versus Rodrigo Nascimento. Rodrigo Nascimento was not the guy that got knocked out by Derek Lewis in the last fight. That was someone else. Who was it, though? Does anybody fucking know?
Who Derek Lewis knocked out?
In his last fight. Who did Derek Lewis knock out in his last fight? It wasn't Rodrigo Nascimento.
Marcos Rodrigo de Lima.
Right.
But just like, Rodrigo Nascimento and de Lima are like Josh Parisian and Jared Bandera. You know what I mean? It's like, replace it if you need to. Dontel Mays, I made a lot of money betting against Dontel Mays when he lost that split decision to Hamdi Alawala Habdi. I bet a lot of money on Hamdi Alawala Habdi. Not responsibly. He did not decisively win that fight, and then he popped for PEDs afterwards. So then he went on to fight Sakai and lost, and I believe I picked Dontel Mays against Sakai. Then he went on to fight Arlovsky and won, and I think I picked Arlovsky. So I've been really having a hard time with Dontel Mays. It's almost like, don't tell me he's fighting because I don't do very well, right? But what do you guys think about this one? He's got the 4-inch height advantage. They're both weighing in at the limit. They're similar age. If you're just looking at what I see on Tapology, I kind of want to go with Dontel Mays here, because if you're putting up split decision wins against Tanner Bozer and Ilir Latifi, and meanwhile, Dontel Mays is doing good work against guys who are like, coming in with advantages like Hamdi or getting finishes over guys like, oh wait, these guys have fought before. Guys,
Yeah, I was about to say.
Shut me the fuck up. Shut me the fuck right up. All right.
Yeah, Nascimento submitted him in the second round last time. I've been very low on Dante Almeida. Yes, he impressed us in his last fight against Andrei Arlovski. I definitely didn't think he was going to do what he did to Andrei Arlovski. Jackson Wink guy, trains with John Jones, if John Jones is still over there. John Jones, the alcoholic, and Dante Almeida. No, you know who I'm talking. Maurice Green. And Dante Almeida, that's a match made in heaven. I think Dante Almeida takes the L in this one. But he's a hard guy to read. I would have, taken him to lose a lot of the fights that he's won, but I take him to win in fights that I think he would lose. Whatever. We're going with Rodrigo Nascimento. It's the same movie. We've seen it before. We know the outcome.
This is one of the few fights where it's a Brazilian favorite where I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm going to go with Nascimento just based on the fact that he has the experience of beating Dante Almeida and by finish. He's coming off of 2 straight wins. What I'm looking at right now is his strike count, which is very low. I mean, he's averaging he's around the 30s for his significant strikes. I feel like Dante Almeida puts up a lot more than that, on a good night when it goes to full 15. Actually, he doesn't. I'm looking at it here, and he's in the 20s. So
yeah,
I'm going with Nascimento. Seems like he strikes with more volume, and obviously that big body and background, those pepperoni nips are going to be all smothered in his face. So give me Rodrigo Nascimento. Great nips.
There's nothing better than finding out that the low volume you were just commenting on actually ends up being the higher end of the volume.
Where do you pull that from? That information? Are you on the
UFC.com, right?
No, UFCstats.com. Very in depth. Very good.
So I think I'm going to just go with Dante Almeida because I want to gamble. You know what I mean? On this kind of fight. I think that if I'm going to fade a Brazilian, it's going to be this one. If I'm going to go, my thing is this. It's hard to submit somebody. It's like a 33% rate of effectiveness in terms of how fights end, which, there's 3 ways a fight can end. So it makes kind of sense. But what I mean is that overall, a submission is kind of like playing roulette and you're betting the thirds, you know what I mean? Whereas if you're going for a win in another, I'm talking on my ass. What I'm trying to say,
Luke, what you're saying is that
somebody twice.
Submissions happen a majority of the time in one spot, and that's on the ground. Where a knockout, a TKO, could happen on the ground as well. So obviously, the probability of getting a knockout or a TKO is higher than submission because you can just keep pounding them, and instead of grabbing a submission,
the rules and the criteria do not favor
going for submission
because it's 5 minutes. You have gloves that can block up your arteries and stuff. You can get your gloves in the way. It's a lot easier to submit somebody if you're both not wearing gloves. Like if you're doing jiu-jitsu when you're not wearing gloves. So, you don't have a gi. You do have gloves. You only have 5 minutes. You are sweaty. It's very difficult to get a submission in the UFC, in my opinion.
I agree.
The fact that he got one once, I'm thinking if Dantel can just go back and he's the more if you beat the guy, you're not as motivated going in to fight him again. And you're going to think that it's going to be easier than it is. So I'm going to go with Dante Almeida, but it's a heavyweight, greasy fight, and anything can happen in this one.
Perfect.
No, I'm going with Nascimento. I'm going with Nascimento.
All right, there you go.
Because this one feels just like the Gaffarov pick. You know what I mean? It feels like the Azatar pick. It feels like the Gaffarov pick. It feels like picks I've gotten wrong. So I don't want to have this feeling. So I'm going to triple B certify Rodrigo Nascimento. Caio Borralho versus Abbas Magomedov. I think this one will be a little easier for me, though. What do you guys think? I'll let you start it off.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to take Abbas Magomedov here, but his only win is against Dustin Stolfitz, and Sean Strickland's an absolute beast, but you would think that Caio Borralho will have a little bit more to offer off of the ground and might even tire him out more with those actions. And he's a hammer, dude. He's strong, he's big, he's fast. I'm gonna roll with gonna roll with Kyle Borralho here, although the price tag, like I said, is not very good for a lot of these fights. The best price tag so far has been Nascimento, and I'm kind of excited to bet on Nascimento. I think that's a lot easier of a fight than Lucas leading on. I'm gonna go with Kyle Borralho here. It is a harder fight than the Nascimento fight with a much bigger price tag, so I am a little nervous about it. I'm not gonna have it on everything, but I'm rolling with Kyle Borralho.
There's no reason this fight should be lined this way because, I mean, Kyle Borralho is relatively unproven. And
it's completely recency bias. This is all recency bias.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Borralho, though. I mean, I do think that he wins. I do not like how Abbas fought Sean, and I think he's kind of a bitch. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the guy who's fought way better competition and won in more exciting ways and seems to be, I don't know, better. Really, just all the reasons.
Yeah, I mean, as far as being proven, we got Kyle Borralho with 6 straight wins from Dana White Contender Series up through the UFC. 4 of those went the distance, so he's beating these guys pillar to post. And his last one, he's got a submission over my boy Lord Olajaychuk. This Abus character, he's tough to judge because we have such little to go off of. He had a first round knockout over what's his face, Dustin Solfus. Then he goes into a main event against Sean Strickland and gets destroyed. So it's hard to really calibrate where this guy is at. I like Kyle Borralho a lot. I like the fact that he's got a crazy neck tattoo. He looks like a crazy dude, but he fights very calculated. He's like Sean Strickland in that way. He'll take takedowns when he can get them, and he's got pretty strong top game from there. I'm going to go with Borralho. Again, I think this is kind of teed up for him as the hometown kid, someone that the UFC will probably want to boost up as a future Brazilian title contender. I like Borralho here.
Yeah, and just a quick note on Abbas. I know we haven't seen him much in the UFC, but he used to fight in the PFL. So anybody who had watched the PFL in the past, it seems like if you look at a lot of his fights before he was in the UFC, 1 round and done. His only fight in the UFC, 19 seconds long, that he won, besides the one he got finished in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he has lost second round or decision, except for one fight he was submitted in the first round. So, you got to take that into consideration. He hasn't seen too many second rounds. He's finished a lot of people in the first. He hasn't finished as many people in the second. He only has 2 wins in the second round and then 1 decision. And then the rest we don't have because he was fighting in bumfuck nowhere where nobody knows. Oh, 2 decisions. Sorry about that. But, he got starched by Lewis Put the Guns Down Taylor. I remember that. That was for the $1 million of the PFL. That was the last fight of the season, I believe. And Lewis Put the Guns Down Taylor put the guns on him.
Okay.
But next up, we have Armand Petrosyan versus Adolfo Vieira. Dan, what do you think about this matchup of guys who've disappointed us quite a bit in the past?
Yeah, striker versus grappler matchup, classically so. I'm apt to pick Vieira just because he bothers me so much, and I could see how I pick Petrosyan, and Vieira spoils it for me. Like, I see that very clearly in my mind. Petrosyan's been taken down multiple times in every single fight he's been in, except for his last one where he actually notched a takedown. I'm going to go with Petrosyan on account of the fact that he's going up against a lot of wrestlers, not a pure jiu-jitsu guy. I mean, he's pretty much the last of the Mohicans as far as only being BJJ, Adolfo Vieira. Petrosyan should have his way with him with the kickboxing as long as it's on his feet. And I have to believe that he's been working on his takedown defense and that it's gotten better at this point. So over the course of 3 rounds, I think he gets it on the back 9. He gets the last 2 rounds. Maybe he gets taken down and controlled for a little bit in that first round, but the last 2 rounds I think are his. So give me Petrosyan, but this one, like the Nascimento fight, I'm a little fugazi on.
The black belt hunter will become the hunted. And guys, I think Arman Petrosyan has a chance to finish this fight by submission. I think it
what?
Could be,
that would be insane. He's so bad at grappling. What are you talking about?
I think he clubs him and then he subs him. I think that could be an outcome. Hey, guys, you would have called me crazy if I told you that, our boy Super Sadiq Youssef was going to submit Don Sheamus in the first round. Or Don Imus? What was it?
Sheamus.
Sheamus. Yeah, if I were to tell you that before the fight, you would have looked at me like I had 16 heads, because guess what? It was plus 1,600, and I won that bet because he submitted him in the first round. I think Arman Petrosyan could easily get himself in who would have thought that Fluffy Hernandez is going to choke out Rodolfo Vieira? I think that Arman Petrosyan rocks him. Rodolfo Vieira covers up. Maybe he gets submitted, but it's going to be a TKO or a sub regardless. I'm taking Arman Petrosyan by finish 100%. I think that, Rodolfo Vieira, he lacks heart, he lacks wrestling, he lacks ability to compete on this level of the UFC. Arman Petrosyan, the guys that he lost to in the UFC, Kyle Borralho, somebody we just glossed about, somebody that we love, somebody that we think is really, really good. Where Rodolfo Vieira, this is going to be the first Brazilian I go against, guys. I think Arman Petrosyan goes out there and destroys him. Luke, what do you think?
Me too. This is a good spot, good betting line, and I like that it's a pick 'em. I think Petrosyan whitewashes him on the feet, and whether Vieira wants to stick around for 3-round beating or find a way out, that's on him. But I think Petrosyan's going to be too fast, too loose, too powerful on the feet, and he's going to avoid the takedown. So he's not going to be able to. He's not going to find himself getting submitted.
Perfect.
All right. Well, we got Ishmael Bonfim. Call me Ishmael. What book's that from, Dan?
Moby Dick.
So it was actually from the autobiography of Ishmael Bonfim. So Ishmael Bonfim versus Vink Pichel. It's weird, right? Because Vink is an old guy, or a 40-year-old guy, and Ishmael, let's see how old he is. 27, 13 years younger. So if he loses this, he should be cut from the UFC and possibly never allowed to fight in the UFC again. Because you can't knock out Terrence McKinney, right? Lose to BSD and then lose to Vince Pichel. It doesn't work that way. Now you've confused us all.
Do you want a quick tip? Do you want to know what's going to happen in this fight?
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly what's going to happen in this fight.
Please tell me.
Vince from Hell Pichel is going to beat Gabriel Bonfim or Ismael Bonfim. 100%. And here's why. The only guys Vince from Hell Pichel has lost to: Mark Madsen, Olympic wrestler; Gregor Gillespie, national champion wrestler; Rustam Kabalabov. Russian is all hell. It doesn't get much more Russian than that. And actually, I take umbrage because somebody said no fighter that ends in an EV or an OV lost last week. And I said, did you not remember Gamarov losing to Nurmagomedov? What are you talking about here? You guys, what you meant was no Russians lost on this card, okay?
And what about the guy? Oh wait, yeah.
But anyway, Ishmael Bonfim is going to lose this fight. Vince from Hell Pichel is going to put a outstanding pace on him. He's going to wrestle the hell out of him and get a unanimous decision. I think this goes to decision, and Vince from Hell Pichel gets his hand raised. He's a plus 330 dog right now as far as Tapology, plus 340 dog as far as Tapology can tell. And I know Dan's also going to go the same boat as me because he loves Vince from Hell Pichel.
I do. I honestly, you've kind of swayed me. You're kind of swaying me here. I was all locked and loaded to pull the Bonfim double trigger on this fight card, but I might be going back on my word here and going straight to hell. Oh, I like what you said about the wrestling matchups in Pichel's past, and that's the only time where he's really struggled. What's the age here of old
40?
Vince? Oh my God, he's 40. No way.
He's older than all get out.
Double tap on the Bonfims. Give me a little double tap. SEAL Team 6 action. He's going to get it done. This Bonfim kid, he may have his flaws, but he's not going to lose to a 40-year-old. Simple as that.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. It's hard because you don't get an advantage by fighting in your home area. You know, you get a disadvantage. It's a little harder. And he's fighting in Brazil.
That's why Derek Lewis is going down there. He's just happy to not be in Texas for one time.
Vince Pichel's 40 though, man. You don't travel well at 40. It's Bonfim. It's Bonfim.
All right, island by myself.
Listen, I'll be hedging out on Vince Pichel if I get that far for sure.
Call me Andy Samberg because I'm on a lonely island, boys.
That's the first natural be certified pick of the night. So
beautiful.
All right.
No, Dan took Vieira. We took Petrosyan too.
No. Don't get the audience confused. We triple P certified Petrosyan.
Dan, you didn't take Petrosyan.
Are you serious?
not
I gave you the breakdown of how it would go. I said he would lose the first round and then come back strong on the back nine.
Above all else, we cannot confuse the audience. So listen, this next fight is pretty interesting. So you got two guys, they're both 5'10". One of them is Brazilian, one of them is Argentine, and the Argentinian Esteban El Gringo Ribovics coming off the win against Kamwelikirk. He is taking on Elvis Brener, who's coming off that amazing knockout win against Guram Kudlakesi. Guram is also a bitch. Cut him from this. he's like Hamza, right? Talk all this shit. I'm a samurai. I got the sword. You come in, you get fucking whooped on, dude. Like, we're still waiting to see it, dude.
Wait, hold on one sec. Real quick.
What you've been working on. Let us know when you're ready to show us your class project. Because right now,
Hold on. Before we get any deeper, are we giving an extra pick to the YouTube audience or are we going to Comb Club? Because we're past the main card now.
Dude, we've been doing it this way. We've been doing it this way for like a month and a half now.
Doing what way?
We give the early picks 2 weeks before the fight happens. All right, guys, let me take you behind the third wall here. We do every pick on the card 2 weeks before. Then for the fine-tooth comb club, we go through all the picks with a fine-tooth comb. We cover all the fights that you haven't seen yet, the fights that fall off, the fights that come on. If you want to know our exact picks before the fight happens, you go to patreon.com/perfectparlaypursuit. You listen to our breakdown the Monday of the fight week. Then all week, you will have access to our open bet sheets. Usually I'm a little late on them. I put them in Saturday, I put them in Friday, but you know exactly where my money's at. And if you know where my money's at, your money's safe.
So,
but this is not financial advice.
Yeah, I got a little tripped up because we don't have a fight coming up.
Yeah, well, that's always the case. Usually, this is so. It's not always it's always the case that the fight we're breaking down on the YouTube isn't the fight that week,
right?
Next week, and then so basically it allows us to not only break it down once, but then break it down twice. You see, guys. So then we have two looks.
Gotcha.
Because you have two options.
Hence the fine-tooth comb.
Now that we take an even finer comb and we go through it again. So I'm going with Elvis Brener. He's a pimp. I love him. I can't stop thinking about him. That was amazing the way he knocked out Guram.
Give us your best Elvis impression.
Oh, listen in, mama.
That was good.
Nothing but a hound dog. If I do this, I can probably do it better because I can. Oh man, the general's got me doing all these tour dates. I just want to have a sandwich. I just want to have a peanut butter jelly and bacon sandwich.
Close. Banana.
No.
Peanut butter and banana sandwich.
No, he liked this one sandwich from this one place in Colorado. Elvis sandwich. It was peanut butter, banana, and bacon. We're both right.
Okay, perfect.
Peanut butter, banana, and bacon sandwich. He would get it from this place. Where would he get it? Where did he get it from? It's called a Fool. It's from Colorado. Fool's Gold Loaf. You ever have a Fool's Gold Loaf when you're in Colorado, Alex?
No, I didn't. I was too busy just going to Bova's and getting fat sandwiches because I'm a fat little piggy.
Well, they need to add this to the fat sandwich menu. I mean, this is the perfect one. It's you got toast.
Luke, I don't dine on the swine, man. Come on. Like, do I have to put that out there that I don't dine on the swine? Do I have to?
Not this week. We'll do it next week, or in a month.
How about Colorado getting humbled? How about Dion getting humbled by the good boys of Stanford?
Well, Dan, don't you understand that my over 3.5 bet won already? And, we won one game last year and we're 400 times better than we were last year. Don't you understand how that works?
Yeah, I'm glad you won your money. I'm glad you won your dirty money. Maybe you could send that to Colorado's NIL fund so they could steal more players and still lose, you bum.
Dan, this is the first year of a reclamation project. Don't you understand? The project doesn't get built on the first day. Okay,
I think what we're finding out is that when you're selfish and you make everything about you, you don't build a good program because it's all about you. So
you can tell Dan is an uncle.
Hope you enjoyed your 60 minutes interview, Dion. Hope that was real good for you.
I think he did. And he got a lot of commercials too. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. He got a lot of commercials and money.
He is definitely going to get even more players.
Shoulder to shoulder with Travis selling Pfizer. I'm sure he's doing that.
That's funny. That's actually one of our quotes at Colorado. Shoulder to shoulder, we will be bolder.
I don't think Dion's doing that, Dan. I'm not going to get into why I don't think Dion's doing that, but I don't think Dion's doing that. And Travis should be ashamed of himself. All right, let's move on.
I'm going to go with Elvis Brener as well. He's fought a higher level of competition. None of these guys from Latin America know how to grapple except for the Brazilians, boys. They know how to grapple. All these Lionel Messi fans, this Ribovics guy, this what's that other guy from Argentina? The Argentinian dagger. Most famous one. Santiago Ponzinibbio. Santiago. Santa Luego. I have no idea what I'm saying, okay? But Elvis Brener, he probably has the strengths where Esteban Ribovics has the disadvantages. These Mexican fighters, Nicaraguan fighters, Argentinian fighters, if you are on the west side of Brazil or on the south side of Brazil or on the north side of Brazil, in between America and Brazil, there's no grappling. You're not allowed to grapple. You got to box. You got to do Pantoja kicks. Like you can't do anything else. That is why we are rolling with Elvis Brener.
Well, we is a strong word. I am going with Esteban Ribovics. Number one, this is a Ribovics line. The fact that Elvis Brener coming off this amazing win that everyone saw and was hyped up about, the fact that he's only a minus 135 in Brazil, that just shows me that he's not going to be the one to win this. Also, good fight on Elvis, but let's be clear on this. He was beaten and battered through a large portion of that fight. So he's very hittable. He's definitely taken on a lot of damage going into this. And I think that we are overlooking Ribovics and his resume going into this as well. So I don't want to give too much credit to the guy that took a substantial amount of brain damage in his last fight. I think the striking defense could use a little bit of a shape up, if you will. So
Dan, you're going with Esteban, Julio, Ricardo, Montoya, De La Rosa, Ramirez, Ribovics?
Absolutely.
All right.
That's for my Sweet Life and Zag and Cody fans out there. I found out I found out the actual name, guys. Don't worry about it.
So that's great. So next we got Daniel Marcos versus Victor Hugo. Daniel Marcos is coming in from Peru and 5'7", 69-inch reach. Victor Hugo is Brazilian, making his debut off the Contender Series, where he got a knee bar win a week ago on the last season.
But his name's Striker.
Victor Hugo. His name is Striker, and he
hasn't lost since 2014.
Yeah.
By a doctor stoppage rib injury.
Yeah. And this guy coming off a split decision win against Davy Grant, a fight that I watched while doing the dishes, didn't really know who won, but kind of thought Davy Grant was winning. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I got to go back and watch it. But
Davy Grant was winning, but he had more. He had a cut.
Yeah, that's right. And I said after the fight, I was like, Davy Grant, he's just the type of guy he always gets cut,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to do here because I don't know any of the people that Victor Hugo has beaten and finished on the regional scene. He's got an equal proportion KO submission decision spread in terms of his wins and his losses, essentially. I'm going to go with debutants lose at a rate of 65%. I'm going to go with Daniel Marcos.
Debutants win at a rate of 35%, and I've already went against my debutants. Okay, my debutant going against days are behind me. Luke fails to remember that 35% of these debutants still have to win. This guy is just as old as Daniel Marcos, and he has like 10 more fights, even more than that, 13. So you got to go with the experience. Always fear the young veteran, or the young veteran in a young man's game, whatever the fuck we always say. I'm going to go with Hugo. If you're telling me that he's getting submissions, you're telling me all the right things to go against a guy from Peru. Dan?
Yeah, give me a
line on this. Does anybody have a line on this? Jesus.
I think Hugo might be a last minute. Someone check me on that, but I'm going with.
Well, if he just fought in the Contender Series 2 weeks ago, yes, he is a last minute.
He was supposed to fight. He was supposed to fight the Willy Cat.
And Daniel Marcos was supposed to fight Daniel Santos.
Right.
Santos.
Yeah. I like Marcos here. He is a very sound fighter. He's not someone who puts himself in bad positions to put on this amazing, incredible fight. He's got a really good jab. He knows how to rack up the volume and just knows how to win fights, as indicative of his 15-0 record. So this is a guy that you don't want to fight last minute as your first fight in the UFC, where, in those spots, when those guys win, it's like these crazy knockouts that come out of nowhere. You're not going to knock out this guy out of nowhere. Number one, he's got a really good chin. And number two, he's very defensively sound. So I think this is a bad matchup for anyone making their debut, especially, and this will go to Luke's point in the previous fight, fighting at home. You got all the pressure. It's your UFC debut. I think this all goes in favor of the undefeated Daniel Marcos.
All right, so we will move on. No Trophy certifications through the prelims. Everything Trophy certified at the top seems like. Zaleski versus Fakhretdinov. This fight's interesting because Zaleski's win against BSD, Benoit Saint-Denis, is certainly aged well. That was a fight where people were begging that ref to stop the fight. They were saying that this is a travesty, that this is like terrible, that BSD is taking this prolonged beating. At the end of the day, he didn't hit his butt, right, guys? So it's like, how the fuck do you fucking say that a guy is getting overly beaten if he's like not even getting beaten enough to drop through the fucking ground, So there's no such thing as being too tough for your own good. It's just they're too tough for your own good. You know what I mean? They're too tough for you. Like, you're not in the cage. You don't feel what he's feeling. You're looking at it from 1,000 miles away. They're in Paris. Shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. So many bitches that watch the sport nowadays, guys. Like, if you're not willing to make less rules, get off this podcast. Like, we are looking to make hair pulling part of the uniform allowed. Eye pokes, groin strikes, maybe the only two things that we can say, like, all right, we'll keep them still illegal for now, but like knees to the head of a grounded opponent, allow it. Elbows, allow it. Bare knuckle, make it bare knuckle. So that way you can get more submissions, just make it more badass. You know what I mean? Make less bitches. There's these guys. I saw a video of Randy Costa. He was like,
Leo's nose was cause for alarm. So Dad.
Sorry. Tapology commercial.
Video is Randy Costa. Is that his name, Randy Costa?
The 135er?
Yeah. He's not in the UFC anymore.
Yeah.
Why do I feel like that's not his name? Randy Costa?
Yeah. The guy with the handlebar mustache who was handsome, and then he got a handlebar mustache.
Yeah, okay. That's it. So Randy Costa, he's like, you guys, I'm doing a bare knuckle fight. Man, I told y'all, I know I said that if you ever saw me doing bare knuckle, I'm hurting for money. Well, I'm not hurting, but I'm just, and it's like, why? First of all, why would you say that? And second of all, you're a fighter with that mentality. Like, I would assume fighters want to get as real as it gets. Like, if you're a fighter and something happens to you that's illegal in the UFC but legal in the streets, and that's caused you to lose, like, you need to accept that, like, in your heart. Like, if that was the street, Victor Henry, if that was the street and he kicked you in the nuts, you'd be on the ground rolling around like a floppy fish while he takes all your money. You know what I mean? So, like, you can't allow it. You can't let the ref and the commission and the judges be what stops his foot from getting to your nuts. You got to be willing to stop that. And the same with the hand and the eye stuff. It's like, if it happens to you in there, it's not like, oh, well, he poked me in the eye. It's like, man, if that were the street, I would have been dead. That's how you should have been thinking. And with the gloves, it should be like, take the gloves off. I, of course, want to take the gloves off. Like, they all should want to take the gloves off, And if you don't, you're not meant for this sport. the sport has now evolved into a state where we allow people like that into the sport, and that's just scary to me. There's not 3 guys in the UFC today who would do a multi-fight tournament in a day. There's not 3 guys in the UFC today who would do a multi-fight tournament that would like fight more than 2 guys in a day. You know
and the worst part about it is Tony Ferguson would be one of them.
Yeah, the guys who would do it, we beg not to because they've done enough. It's like, yeah, T-Ferg, absolutely. There's another guy too that's coming up that's pretty good and respects the old game and stuff. But anyway, I don't even mean the old game. I just mean what's true. Like the whole point of the UFC is it's the ultimate fighting championship. We're trying to figure out, like when you watch a boxing match and you're like, yeah, there's all this stuff they can't do. We're not really figuring out who's the toughest guy. We want to distill that down to the most concentrated, potent form. And we're not doing that if we're letting Muhammad Makayev put his hand on the ground and Tim Elliott can't knee him in the fucking head. We're not doing that then, because he would have won if he could have done that. So we got to move on.
And I mean, those were borderline knees too. Like the fact that they had stopped that like 3 times for those knees was outrageous. Like Tim was pulling his hands up and then he would get his hands back down and complain to the ref, and then the ref would come in.
So although I do respect it and it has aged well as a victory, I don't look at it as bad as everybody thinks it was. Like really, all I see now is you couldn't finish a very compromised opponent. So Zaleski will lose to Hanat. Hanat is the younger guy. That's the play here. Bade, this Brazilian. I'm going with Hanat. He made that look so easy against Kevin Lee. Now, granted, it's a kind of a washed up, half out of the door Kevin Lee. But I don't know. I would love to see Kevin Lee give it another shot. I love Kevin Lee. But I think, Hanat melted him, and that was impressive. So I'm going with Hanat to get the jump on Zaleski.
Dude, Zielinski actually beat Sean Strickland 5 years ago.
Yes, he did.
That's crazy. And then you end up losing to Li Jingliang, Nicholas Dalby, and Muslim Salikov. Like, wait, was USADA in effect in 2018?
No. I'm going to say no.
No? Because that could be huge. Luke, you fact checking me, Jamie?
Gotcha.
All right. Cool. 2015. Okay, so maybe they didn't work out the loose ends yet. Maybe they didn't know how to get down.
No, it's not that. You're thinking about when was Sean Strickland's automobile accident? And also, like, Sean wasn't like the best fighter always. Like, he's the champ now because he's had a long career of like building himself.
Very true. It's like a Bisping situation. Yeah, I'm gonna roll with Renat here. I mean, I just feel like he's faced a higher level of competition.
Sean Strickland was in the motorcycle accident December 2018. When was that fight? Let me see. December 2018. He fought him in May 2018.
So it sent him. It sent him into the motorcycle accident.
Sent him, but then he beat Luigi Venturamini. Oh wait, no, that was in. Oh wow. Okay, so yeah, he. Oh no, that's not. Sorry, I'm not thinking about Sean. I'm thinking about fucking Zaleski.
Yeah,
that was Zaleski. So yeah, so he loses to Zaleski dos Santos, and then he actually fought again. No, he fought Nordine Taleb in October. Was scheduled with Wellington Turman, ended up fighting Jack Marsh. Oh no, sorry. So yeah, that was his last fight. He beat Nordine Taleb right before the motorcycle accident after the Zaleski knockout.
Partying too hard. I don't know. I don't know what angle I can work with that. Sean Strickland doesn't even drink. Unlike that.
Usman by unanimous decision. That's funny. I thought he got knocked out by Usman for some reason.
Who, Sean?
Yeah.
No, dude. Usman used to be a crotch sniffer to the umpteenth degree before.
I thought he knocked out Sean. Maybe he dropped him in the fight because I thought he knocked him out.
But
Sean was 9-1 at the time when he fought Kamaru Usman.
Yeah, Sean had a very, 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 very good record for a very long time. Like, people forget that he was like an up-and-coming prospect in the UFC that was expected to make a lot of waves. When he had that long hair, when he looked like fucking Lord Farquhar from Shrek.
Sorry, he was 15-0 when he fought Santiago Ponzinibbio. That's my bad. He was 15-0 when he fought Santiago Ponzinibbio.
Who?
Sean Strickland.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to roll with Renat Fakhretdinov here, because he's just better. I mean, he hasn't lost in 9 years, guys. He's fought Brian Battle. Brian Battle's an absolute dog, an absolute beast. Kevin Lee. Where does Kevin Lee fit in all this? Kevin Lee fits right into Renat Fakhretdinov's arm and gets choked out.
Perfectly.
Perfectly, like a glove. I'm going with Renat Fakhretdinov here. I think he wins this fight.
Finally, the boys get a prelim Triple P certification. Going to go with Renat Fakhretdinov here, the dominant Russian wrestler. Hey, I learned my lesson over the weekend, okay? I saw all these Russians doing work. I think they got one more in them 2 weeks from now. So, although I got to say, I mean, Zaleski dos Santos might be the most underrated UFC fighter of our generation. He's picked up some quality wins. He's finishing guys left and right. He's fought the who's who of multiple divisions now. So, I mean, it could be one of those situations where it's like, okay, what if Renat doesn't get the takedown? Then where do we stand? But I think eventually he will get this thing to the mat and do some pretty heavy ground and pound from there. So Renat Fakhretdinov, don't love the price tag, but we'll certainly play around with it.
Bobby Flay looks like a fucking Bond villain. Sorry, there's just a commercial.
Or the villain from The Incredibles.
The
villain from The Incredibles with the big hair.
The kid, the kid who grows up and then hates Mr. Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got to go take a PP, but Victor Petrino is taking on Modestas Bukaukas. Guys, Victor Petrino versus Modestas Bukaukas. Take the people through it. 9-0 Petrino. You got to go back. I'm burping, I'm coughing, I'm about to sneeze.
He's pissing me pants.
Luke is far too familiar with PP in his pants. He loves.
Oh, all right. It's just me. Victor Petrino versus Modestas Bukaukas. Bukaukas is really the lamb to slaughter in a lot of these fights. I feel like the UFC kind of offers him up as a sacrificial lamb, and this is no different. Petrino is a wild boy. He throws hands like motherfucker. I feel like he's going to come in pretty wild and pretty reckless, but that's what's going to get the job done here, because much like our boy Francis Ngannou against Arsenio Rosenstruck, he's just going to throw a bunch of spaghetti and some of it's going to stick to the wall. That's what I see here. I see knockout big time. A lot of power coming from Petrino, and it's coming straight for Bukaukas' face. It's going to be Bukaki all over the place in Sao Paulo.
Oh, yeah. Bukaki. Zach Puaga, not very good. Tyson Pedro, not very good. Andre Michailidis, he's out of the UFC. Even Jimmy Crute, not very good. Michael Olajaychuk, not very good.
Olajaychuk, future champ. Get it right.
And Khalil Roundtree, not very good. These are all one-dimensional fighters in their own right. Tyson Pedro, absolute loser move, taking out the sword on the Pleasure Man. There's probably nothing a Pleasure Man likes more than somebody whipping a sword out on him. But that's besides the point. I'm going to go with Vitor Petrino on this. It's pretty funny that Petrino is a way that somebody would fuck up Al Pacino's name, and Prakniao might be another way that somebody fucks up. I forget who I was even talking about. What Al Pacino? Yeah, Prakniao and Petrino might be a way that somebody fucks up Pacino, and they fought each other last time. Al must have been going crazy. I'm going with Vitor Petrino here. It sounds like Dr. Stephen Brule in both of those trying to say Al Pacino. Luke, what do you think?
It's Petrino. It's Petrino all day. Bukaukas got a lucky shot getting back into the UFC with a couple of good wins against those out of UFC competition, but then he comes in. Tyson Pedro gets that win. We all know Tyson Pedro is a stinker. He's a fraud. He's a loser. Zach Puaga got very untested. Bukaukas was always going to get the win over a guy like that, even though I probably didn't pick him. I don't know. Maybe I did. I don't know. I didn't pick him against Pedro, I'll tell you that much. But I should have, because Tyson Pedro is the worst, man. He sucks so bad. What's Tyson Pedro's record right now? Let's take a look. Tyson Pedro 9-3. Hate this guy. Yeah, he just beat the Pleasure Man. That's right. Because I knew he won one, but that performance against Bukaukas was so bad. This is a guy, Tyson Pedro. He's an excuse maker. We hate him.
he has too many kids. He doesn't want to spend time with his kids. He doesn't want to spend time with his family. And usually we applaud that for fighters like Alistair Overeem. He says, keep the kids away. Keep the kids away. I have horse meat over here. Everything's fine. But when you're Tyson Pedro complaining about your kids, nobody wants to hear it. My kids got me sick. My kids got me sick before the fight. Oh
my God, he's so annoying. I can't stand that guy. I really wish he would get beat and then beat again and then beat again and then cut from the UFC. All right, Angela Overkill Hill. Fuck Adelaide and West Adelaide and Adelaide Bird and all the other Adelaides nationwide. I love Adelaide Bird. All right, so
Adelaide Bird, baby, dude.
Angela,
I picture Adelaide Bird as Ruth Bader Ginsburg. That's what I think she looks like. I've never seen her.
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
Yeah.
I picture her more as a Ruth Bader Ginsburg type, a real hero. But you know,
I see her as like a hippie character with very long blonde hair and like maybe some like little plastic stars in her hair. You know what I mean? That's where I'm going.
Frizzle type. I see. Yeah. I think everybody has Adelaide Bird in their mind a little bit differently.
I don't dare look her up. I don't want to. I like the mystique.
Oh, I just looked her up.
Is she bad?
She's got a Twitter.
Raider out of 10. Raider out of 10.
Oh, wait, no, this must not be fucking right. This must be fake.
It's a fan account. It's a fan account.
Yeah, it must be fake. Official NSAC judge. Married to the best boxing referee of all time, Robert Bird. I've gotten to judge some of the most.
Yeah, she kind of looks like Ruth Bader Ginsburg now that I'm seeing her.
She does. And dude, this might be hers, I think. This is for real. I don't know. We'll see. It might be, it might not be.
She's done a few interviews, and I really want to see them.
Yeah. We need to get her on the show. Bruno Brazil, dude. Yasmin Uruguay. What do they have in common? They both got knocked the fuck out in the last 6 months by one Didi Gomes, Denise Gomez. Love her, need her to beat Angela Hill's ass here. Excited for it. Let's go. Denise Gomes. I love it. You guys know I hate 38-year-old fighters, and she's 15 years older than Denise Gomes. I'm picking Denise Gomes. It's her fight to lose. Angela Hill loves to win in these kind of spots, loves to piss me off, but she's not nearly a big enough dog for me to back her at 38 years old, nor would I ever back her. So it's Denise Gomes all day, all night. Minus 135, extremely generous. Give me Denise Gomes. Give me Denise Gomes by finish.
I don't know, because Angela Hill kind of has like a Luma Luke Bomi like type style. She fights like a Luma Luke Bomi. So that kind of gives me cause to pause. And I would love nothing more than Angela Hill ending the night saying, D, get out of my laboratory. You know, but that might not happen. I think Angela Hill might get her out of the laboratory without any issues. It will go the distance. Didi Gomez, yes, she knocks out Yasmin Uruguay, but Yasmin Uruguay has much worse defense than Angela Hill. Bruno Brazil. I'll be honest, I thought that was a welterweight in the UFC. I did not know Bruno Brazil was a women's 135er or 115. I'm going to roll with Didi on this just because I can't stand Angela Hill, but I feel like it's the wrong pick, and this is going to be the one that burned the parlays early.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I feel like hopefully we can take from Angela Hill's last loss against, what's her face? Brazilian, but not Brazilian.
Mackenzie Dern.
Mackenzie Dern, right? Take the blueprint that Mackenzie Dern wrote out for you and just do that. And I think that actually kind of, works in DD's, her style, right? Just go balls to the wall, fire some right hands right at Angela Hill's face. Don't worry about the, the teep kicks and all of the little striking jabs that will be coming your way. Just work your way through that, bite down your mouthpiece, boom, rocker, and then just keep going. That's the blueprint. And I think that's something that will work very well for Gomes and her overall fight strategy and style. So I'll go with Gomez, however you say it, but obviously Lady MMA fight, and Angela Hill, the queen of busting up parlays and making people very, very frustrated in the gambling community. So gamble responsibly.
Yeah. All right. So we're trophy certifying Gomes. Next, we got Lucas Alexander versus David Onama. Lucas the Lion Alexander plus 135 underdog against the minus 200 favorite David the Silent Assassin Onama, coming off the knockout win against Gabriel Santos 3 months ago. A lot of people were low on him after the Nate Landwehr fight. That was a fight where people were joking that James Krause's buddy bet like $1 million on David Onama for that fight or something like that. And he lost, you know. He did say in the 1% club that he had a huge bet on David Onama. I was able to find that, I think, but he did lose. So you wonder, it's crazy. He lost the decision to Nate Landwehr. Then he wins against Gabriel Santos. The strength of schedule for Onama has been way better than Lucas Alexander. I'm going with David Onama. I expect big things from this kid. I like him a lot. I wasn't low on him when everyone else got low. I'm ready to see him do big things.
David Onama, he's the one that hangs out with The Rock now, right? He's in The Rock's house all the time.
No.
No, that's Temba Garimbo.
Temba Garimbo. Always get those two fellas confused. Are they the same weight?
I'm sorry?
Are they the same weight?
I don't think so. I think we're talking. Are they both welterweight?
No. David Onama's 145.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But he's fought as high as 145. Oh, that's what he's fighting. That's what I just said. I'm fucking stupid. I'm gonna go with David Onama here. Like Luke said, much better strength of schedule. Yeah, I mean, that's about it. Just because you beat slippery Steve Peterson in his last fight doesn't, or Ocho, the Ocho, ESPN, the Ocho, where you can see cornhole and ping pong. Steven Peterson stinks. They should have never even gave him a retirement speech, but he was in the hometown. Yeah, I'm rolling with David Onama, I guess, but it's a pretty big price tag for a fight that I'm pretty like even on both guys. I'm not necessarily like high on either. David Onama, his name sounds like that book I read your daughter like 2 weeks ago, Luke.
Yeah. Dude, wait, what?
His name sounds like the book that I was reading to your daughter a couple weeks ago.
Pajama.
Yeah.
All right, so
Dan.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Triple P certify David Onama. I actually am high on him. Very strong prospect. Seems to be coming into his own. Big for 145. I actually thought he might have been a welterweight. That's how fucking big this guy is. And I think his striking is really coming together, and it's mixing well with his other skill sets as well. So give me David Onama versus, a guy coming off a win against stinky Steve Peterson. Probably not even the same guy. I think I'm thinking of Slippery Pete, but whatever.
I was thinking the same thing.
It's the same person. It's not a quality win. And he lost right before that, and his other wins also seem pretty suspect. So, yeah, Onama's legit. This guy is still yet to be proven.
It's a Berenstein Bears situation, with David Onama, Themba Garimbo.
No one gets those two.
I was just trying to save myself. Thank you.
Minus 400 women's favorite enters the UFC, making her debut. Eduarda Ronda Moura makes her debut off the Contender Series, where she got a rear naked choke submission a month ago. Now she's taking on Montserrat Conejo, who fought about the same amount of time ago. She fought the same week as Moura fought on the Contender Series in the UFC and got knocked out by Jacqueline Amorim TKO ground and pound. So possibly didn't go all the way out to be fighting a month, after that. She had to have gone through certain criteria, I would assume, but it is in Brazil, so maybe not. And she is from Mexico, so maybe not. Cheyenne Velismas and is her lone win in the UFC, but she does have 3 fights. So I'll say this, guys. I'm not betting this fight really, but I will sprinkle a little bit on Montserrat Conejo Ruiz, plus 310 underdog, women's underdog, 3 fights in the UFC versus none. Yeah, she's of course an underdog. She's coming off back-to-back knockout losses, but this is where you gotta buy low, sell high. So I'm gonna buy low and sell high. But yeah, like I said, no other reason besides that. I don't know how these girls fight. I don't watch women's MMA like that. I'm not a fucking pet creep fucking predator weirdo. But I don't go through and slow it down and look in real close with a magnifying glass. Like, I'm not a crazy person, so I don't do that. But what I will do is just say what does happen in women's MMA is these girls get in there, they get crazy. No one knows what's going to happen. The better fighter loses all the time. So give me the plus 310 underdog. That's it. So we trophy certified Onama, and we trophy certified Petrino too, right?
Yes.
Yes.
That's 4 trophy certifications in a row. Ruiz will be my pick, but are you guys? I mean, I don't expect you to follow me on that.
No, I'm taking Ruiz as well. She has the UFC experience. She's had 3 fights in the UFC, and she's fought, pretty strong competition. I don't know much about Jackie, but I do know that Amanda Lemos is a dog. Cheyenne Velismus, pretty good. All JP buys once for Christmas is Cheyenne Velismus to come back home. Sorry, JP. No more strays. You were cut from the UFC, so we don't have to talk about you anymore. So sorry. I won't do it any longer. Yeah, I'm going to go with Montserrat. And I'm not going to be too invested in this for the same reason I wasn't with Dudakova last week. You never know when these ladies are going to come in with a little butthole staff. You don't know what's going on with their bodies. They have very complex neurochemistry. Okay, we don't need to worry about flesh-eating bacteria hitting their innards. I'm going to go with Montserrat Ruiz, but I'm not going to be very high on this at all. It won't be in a single parlay. Just like Dudakova wasn't last week, because I had inside intel on downstairs for Dudakova. That's why she wasn't involved in any of my bets.
You gave it to her. You gave it to her. Got him. Dan, you can hear that one. That was funny.
Sorry, I was creeping on Eduardo.
He said he had inside intel on Victoria Dudakova with her butthole staff, and I said, yeah, it's because you gave it to her.
He's injected his asshole. Injected it in his asshole.
That is how you get butthole staff. That's for sure.
All right. So,
Dan, what do you think about Ruiz versus Moura?
I like Eduarda Moura. She's gonna make you guys look like morons. How about that? How about that for a zinger? Yeah, minus 400, completely justified. Give me minus 800 because it's free money, maybe. It's going down. Yeah. I think the rat is a fun fighter, but not going to get it done here.
All right. We won't waste any more time on that. The last fight of our breakdown, the first fight of the night, Caio Fernandes versus Mark Diakiese, 155-pound matchup. We've never heard of this guy, Caio Fernandes.
Oh, I've heard of him. He's a little bald boy on PBS.
He grew up.
He grew hair. I don't know where from.
Can you sing the Caillou theme song? Don't get us taken off YouTube, but can you hum a couple notes? It's
Caillou.
I remember your ass used to watch that bullshit, and I hated it. I was like,
nah, that was BR.
Yeah, you loved Caillou.
That was never me.
Dude, that's for babies, mom. I was like, Caillou is for babies. Like,
Caillou is for babies. Turn Barney back on, which is number one baby show. Number one baby show.
House on. I want to see Uncle Jesse get some babes. All right, Mark
and Vicky, dude. She's really gone down the wrong path or the right path.
Mother of the year. No, I don't believe in that bullshit. I think that you need to really be harder on your kids and be like, you're not good enough to go there. You're dumb. Be less dumb. Wake up.
Get off of TikTok, dummy.
Yeah. And also, don't go to college. You're already rich. What do you want to learn how to work for?
If anything, I can get you on the set of Fuller House. What are you doing over here?
That's not even you're doing makeup tutorials. You're making way more money than anybody on a sitcom. You don't even she's got it all backwards, Olivia Jade. Olivia Jade eggs. Yoni style. Okay, moving on. Okay. So Mark Diakiese is not, I don't know. What are we doing here, guys? Mark Diakiese, we don't even know this guy's nickname. We don't know his age. We don't know a lot about this guy, Caio Fernandes Pinheiro. He's on a 2-fight win streak at a Nova União, Rio de Janeiro. Nova União, that's where Jose Aldo comes from, right? That's Andre Pindaneres. We like Nova União. He's tough. He's 8-1. First fight of the night. Lot to do. Lot to overcome. Mark Diakiese.
I hate to pull a Alistair Overeem right now, but I'm gonna need to see his birth certificate. Like before I put any money down on this fight, I need a birth certificate. And call me what you want.
He looks young though.
He does look young, but
He looks young.
But Alistair Overeem said Francis Ngannou must be older than him. He said Francis Ngannou.
Anything. It's like he knocked your ass out.
He said he's older than me before the fight. When he was building the fight, he says he might think he's 32, but he is older than me. He's 41 years old. Look at the guy.
All right. Well, Alistair Overeem, shout out to a legend, retired from the sport. This fight's tough, right? I'll go with Caio Fernandes just because his biceps and his arms look fucking nice, dude. He looks jacked as shit in the Stepology picture. Slight underdog. Some underdogs have to win, right? So I'm going to go with him because I haven't picked a single underdog almost yet, I don't think, besides Dante Almeida. So.
Yeah, I hate the price tag on Mark Diakiese, but like, how do you go against Mark Diakiese after he has fought the who's who in the UFC? He's been in the UFC since 2016, guys.
Mixed results.
Mixed results, 7-7. He's got the Angelo Overkill Hill path to being a desk person at the UFC. He's got that path. He's got a cool accent. But he's fought the who's who: Michael Johnson, Joel Alvarez, Rafael Fiziev, Dan Hooker, Jakar Close, Nasrat Hapkaras, Joe Duffy, Lando Venata, Vladislav Borishev. That's when D1 Diakiese was born. And I think D1 Diakiese is going to come out wearing those knee pads. And in a great quote from Super Sadiq Youssef, this is one of these bets that I'm going to need to wait until the walkout because I need to see if he has those knee pads on. If he has those knee pads on, he came ready to wrestle. D1 Diakiese is coming out.
You had him on in his last 2 fights, bro.
Brother, you don't wrestle Joel Alvarez, brother. You don't wrestle Joel Alvarez. Bad decision. Bad business decision. Michael Johnson, for however good D1 Diakiese was, no Brit is taking down Michael Johnson. Not a single guy from across the pond is taking down Michael Johnson unless your name ends in an OV, okay, or an EV or something of that nature. I'm going with Mark Diakiese here, the bone crusher. He's going to crush those cute little biceps. He's going to crush those bones. We're in there like swimwear. Dan, what do you think?
I'm going to take a blast from the past from your childhood and go with Caillou. We were just talking about the EA Sports
bro, I don't watch
UFC video games and how you don't take guys that are on a sliding stock. This is to me a sliding stock, just hook, line, and sinker here with D1 Diakiese. I think his days are numbered. We got a hot young prospect coming in here. I think we'll take advantage of this situation. I think this is one of the rare occurrences where, the first time UFC, 36%, this will be one of those 36% opportunities here. So, yeah, D1 Diakiese is going down. This guy's coming off a head kick knockout, and I'm going to go up to the guy who wears knee pads and he's almost 40. No, I'm not going with that guy. I'm going to go with the head kick guy.
He's 30 on the dot.
He's 30 in human years, but in fight years, he's like 52.
Okay, fair enough.
So, right, Luke, quick question before we get into the finale here. Are we doing the power rankings today? I have my power rankings, top 5 Discord. Or are we just announcing it?
Mine ready, but let's just make him Alex's Discord power ranking for now.
All right, Discord power rankings right here. This is a new segment we're doing. Get you guys a little bit more involved. We're going to pick our top 5 favorite people in the Discord from this past week. And, the results, they may surprise you. So this week, role number 1, Devin on Discord. Devin was active the whole time. We were riding bets together. We were putting bets in together. He convinced me to put some bets in. Devin, you're a soldier. You're number 1. You won the week. You don't win shit but my approval.
You won money. A lot of money.
He did win a lot of money, but you don't win anything from me. This is no contest. Okay? This isn't one of these win a pool prize or whatever. Then next up, we got to go with Cowboy. He's always in there, always, week in, week out. Cowboy's kind of the guy to beat around here. Cowboy is always in there, always has some great takes, always an absolute legend. And then we got Activia. Although I don't agree with 90% of your opinions, 90%, you're in there, you're a troop, you're letting us know what you think, which, great. Huh?
Watch the show more.
You watch the show more than probably Cowboy.
I'm saying watch the show more to know what to think better.
Yes, exactly. You need to watch the show more. You need to get in the fine-tooth comb club. And guys, that's all. No, I'm kidding.
No, top
G-Dubs, you get an honorable mention. The only reason you're not up there is because you called me a very mean word in the Discord this week. And if you ever do that again, you're plummeting even more. And I love you, G-Dubs. Come on. Great job, boys.
Beautiful. I thought you had 5, but we stopped at 4. That's fine. Now we'll get hungry. Now the dogs will get hungry and everybody will start to want to climb the rankings more.
I realized when I said top 5 that only 3 people were talking to me in the Discord this week. Number 5, Lukey CK.
I was at a wedding. I don't even know. All right, so let's do the full list. I'm doing mine top to bottom. If you're going with Luke, you're betting with me. 2 weeks from now, we got Jalton Almeida, Gabriel Bonfim, Rodrigo Nascimento, Caio Borralho, Armin Petrosyan, Ismail Bonfim, Elvis Brener, Daniel Marcos,
Old Mate number 5. Sorry, Old Mate. Sorry, forgot about Old Mate. Sorry. Actually, Old Mate number 4, G-Dubs 5.
Fakhretdinov. All right, so let me just start over. Almeida, Bonfim, Nascimento, Borralho, Petrosyan, Bonfim, Brener, Marcos, Fakhretdinov, Petrino, Gomes, Onama, Ruiz, Fernandes. The only underdogs I believe I have are the first 2 of the night, maybe. I'm looking at everything else, and it's looking like a lot of favorites. So. And I think a lot of favorites will win this weekend. So, Alex, Dan.
You want me to go, Dan, or are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead. I got to get it loaded up.
All right, started from the bottom. Now we're here. Mark Diakiese, Montserrat, Coneo, Ruiz, David Onama, Denise Gomes, Vitor Petrino, Renat Fakhretdinov, Victor Hugo, Elvis Brener, Vince from Hell, Pichel, baby, Armand Petrosyan, Caio Borralho, Rodrigo Nascimento, and then Gabriel Bonfim topping it all off with Jalton Almeida. Big card, boys. 14 fights. I thought I was done 3 picks ago.
Long time for a lot to drop off. We'll see. Dan.
All right, we got from the top, Jalton Almeida, Gabriel Bonfim, Rodrigo Nascimento, Caio Borralho, and Armin Petrosyan, followed by Ismail Bonfim, Esteban Ribovics, Victor Hugo, Renat Fakhretdinov, Vitor Petrino, Denise Gomes, David Onama, Eduarda Moura, and Caio Fernandes.
I'm pretty sure that you picked Marcos, the Peruvian, against Hugo, and now you've switched.
Oh, I was getting him mixed up with Vitor Petrino. Yeah, Marcos over Victor Hugo, Vitor Petrino over Modestus Bukaukas.
And I have you here as taking Adolfo Vieira over.
Yeah, I know you think that.
All right, we got Trophy Survey picks starting at the bottom. David Onama, Denise Gomes, Vitor Petrino, Renat Fakhretdinov, Armin Petrosyan, Caio Borralho, Rodrigo Nascimento, Gabriel Bonfim, and Jalton Almeida. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Triple P Survey picks divine 9, baby. Let's go. Thanks everybody for joining the show. I think I'm gonna talk to the boys after the show, but we might wait till the weigh-ins to do our Comb Club episode this week, just to be a little bit more to chat about when it comes to Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou. Let the press conference get going. Let some people start saying some things. See if there's any other fights on the card worth betting on. But we got nothing this weekend except LFA, and I'm not seeing any odds for it. So if you guys want to check back in with us for the weigh-ins. We'll do an episode for you there, Fine Tooth Comb Club episode maybe, for Fury and Ngannou. And thank you all for joining the show. Dan, Alex. For Dan.
Thank you, boys. We'll
Love you
see
guys.
you.
Remember in the Discord, you're vying for my love.
I don't give a fuck.